Well, geez, I'm friggin' Crow. It's the All Stoved Up Podcast with the boys from Welcome to Maine.
Hey everybody, welcome to the All Stoved Up Podcast. I am your host as always, Ian Stewart, also known as Mac on the fucking Welcome to Maine show. I am here with my co-host Paul, also known as friggin' Luke or Lucas on the Welcome to Maine series.
Yo, what up, bud?
Oh yeah. And we've got a special guest today, Josh Marquis.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Now, Josh is a special guest. Josh was one of our first and only cameramen on Welcome to Maine. Welcome to Maine has had a hostile working relationship with most cameramen. We're not really a cameraman family. I don't know what it is.
You like to do it yourself.
Well, I like doing it myself, but also we've got this fucking Spinal Tap drummer cameraman thing where they just don't last. It's just it's like an in and out. We have these one night stands with cameramen.
Yeah, they just rotate.
I know. I came in. It was literally Bill Brock who shot National Geographics, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on here?" I mean, yeah, and then you guys have me help you out for a little bit, and I was like, we had this one mishap. We went to Augusta to do Paul Bunyan, and
shit.
I was behind the
before we
camera.
get into Paul Bunyan. Hold on. I feel do I sound muffled at all to you guys?
You sound drunk.
I sound drunk?
I can tell that you've had a few beers.
I've only had 2 beers.
But you're kind of... You don't sound muffled, but you sound
loose.
Your words are running together a little.
Well, maybe I'm having a stroke.
You just kind of did it again.
Oh, dude. You're freaking me out.
No, it's not a stroke. It's just that you've been drinking. It's just
all right.
That's all. You want to start over?
I guess.
I'll start over.
No, you sound fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with how you sound.
I mean, we can cut all this out, obviously, so we can keep going then.
Now I am mortified.
You're not. I mean, nothing to be mortified about.
Maybe I am having a stroke. As soon as you were your words are. I feel like I just had that out of body experience. I was like, oh my fucking god.
You saw yourself whoa, there I am on a podcast.
I think it might be the joint that really got me.
I think you're just disassociating a little.
Hold on.
Snap into a Slim Jim, and let's do it. We should maybe restart and talk about how we just thought we were too messed up to do this, but we're going to do it anyway.
I like it.
I don't know about you guys, but this is my second podcast of the day, so
check.
I'm real warmed up.
Dope. Nice.
Yeah, dude. 8:40 in the morning.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
Does that sound better?
You're a little more prominent now.
All right.
I think you just turned up the gain a little bit.
Yeah. I turned it up a little bit.
Sounds good. Everyone sounds good to me.
Well, now I'm being super self-conscious.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. You're totally fine.
Absolutely fine. You sound good.
So the whole first part of that podcast.
No. I'm just saying that there were times where you were like, and the words would just sound like if I was an officer, I'd be like, step out of the car.
It
sir.
sounded
Have you
like
been
poetry
drinking?"
to me.
Yeah. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like you sounded trashed. I'm not saying that. You just sounded like you sound a little drunk. You don't sound muffled, just drunk.
Wait, I need to check the alcohol on this beer.
Oh, these are strong.
7%.
7.1.
Oh, fuck. That's why.
Yeah, they're not haze forwards.
Oh, I was not planning on that.
Yeah, they are they're snappy. They're snappy.
You know what? We can start over and discuss how the beginning didn't work out and why.
It's not,
Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
That
fills
disclaimer
up
is a
more
good
time.
disclaimer. Let's
That's
start it over.
that's
Ready?
filling up
Let's
time.
go.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey guys, welcome to the All Stoved Up Podcast. I am your host, Ian Stewart, also known as friggin' Mark on the Welcome to Maine show. I'm here with my co-host Paul, also known as Lucas on the Welcome to Maine show.
How's it going?
Good. And we also have a special guest, Josh Marquis. Josh, how you doing?
Good. Happy to be here, guys.
Do I sound less strokey now?
You sound less strokey. And for the folks
The
listening
thing is,
at home,
I'm trying very hard. If I really wanted to talk the way I wanted to talk, I feel like I would sound very strokey. I might be dying right now.
No, you're not dying.
I'm fucking dying right now.
No, you're.
I'm fucking dying right now.
What the folks at home didn't see, or hear, I should say, is we just did 10 minutes of us starting this podcast. And Ian asked if you sound muffled. I maybe responded with, hey, Ian, you sound kind of drunk. But that's because we are. And I feel like, why not just try this anyway?
Well, to be fair, I didn't know that the beers we were drinking were as high in alcohol as they were.
I mean, I remember last episode we did the haze forwards.
Yeah.
I believe are 6.5. I don't know.
Like I feel like I can drink a shit ton of those.
Yeah. But these bright side IPAs from Lone Pine.
We also smoked a giant fucking
Oh, that's true.
jibba.
Yeah.
Giant.
I mean, it's the second jibba of the day.
And the second, yeah, and we just
Of the evening, I should say.
Filmed.
Yeah. And we
But
filmed an episode.
the
There's a
way-
lot to talk about.
The problem is I am very self conscious about my voice because I do feel like I feel like I sound fucked up. But when you said you sound fucked up, it had the same effect on me. Where like if you're doing like ecstasy and you're at a party and someone comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, your lips are blue. Do you feel okay?" And you're like, "Well, I did. I felt okay." And now I'm like all fucked up.
What does blue lips mean?
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Ian,
I
you
want to
got
call
the
fucking 911.
Ian, you got the voice of an angel. Don't worry about it. Keep it sexy.
I think you're all
baby.
right. I think you're all right. I think we're still gonna do fine, but we just started again. That's all.
All right. Well, here we are. All Stoved Up Podcast. So yeah, we've got Paul back again. We've got Josh Marquis now. Josh Marquis is a pivotal part of Welcome to Maine history, as he was one of the few cameramen we ever had on the Welcome to Maine show.
And I remember last episode you told me we no longer have cameramen.
No, we don't
This
do
is
cam-
something
no.
that you guys do. Welcome to Maine is handled basically by Ian.
Yes.
And his camera.
Yep.
He sets it up,
Yep.
gets everything right,
Yep.
and then we go.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, no point to have one.
Now,
Really not.
No, there's no point to have.
Josh, when did you come into the picture?
Like first week or something. You had the first one done by like Bill Brock, and then you were like, "Hey, you need, you're like, hey, do you know how to use a camera?"
Oh,
I
he
was
sounds
like,
drunk
yeah.
too.
No,
All
he
right.
sounds drunk for
All
sure.
right. So
yeah.
I don't feel
Listen,
like that.
Ian, we're all drunk. I just,
How many beers have we had? I feel like I've only had 2 fucking beers.
But two
I've had
jibbas.
2, but I've smoked.
You have to
Two
multiply those beers times 4 now. You know,
Jesus.
it's drunk math.
But I'm cozy on this couch though.
Yeah, I know you're fucking curled up like you're about to read a book.
So Josh, which episode did you film?
Desert of Maine.
Well,
Very
he
good one.
actually he filmed the second time we filmed at the Desert of Maine. The first time we filmed at Desert of Maine was with Bill Brock, but the footage came out like shit. Bill had to do some traveling, and at the time we thought we needed a cameraman, so I knew that Josh did camera work, and so we asked him to do Desert of Maine. And so the actual first episode of Welcome to Maine is technically shot by Josh.
That's one of my favorites, and that's one of the only ones that has different camera angles than the stationary default camera angle, right?
That was
No.
all Ian.
Oh,
Remember that there's like the
so-
low to the ground crawling shot. That's a little bit.
No, that's just a teaser.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just a teaser. The one thing that we did move the camera halfway through the episode because the sun started shining into the lens, so we had to move it a little bit.
But yeah, no point to have a cameraman. You literally you direct if you just had the camera, if you had whatever sort of production where it's just like, camera guy, he's going to do his thing. Perfect, get a camera guy, but you do the whole thing. It's so simple, like you don't need
I kind of like just doing myself. You know what I mean? It's like my full fucking project.
you got control of it. It's how you want it
Yeah.
to look. You don't have to worry about when you go to edit it, you're like, "Wow, this looks like garbage."
Well, and the other thing that was happening so I have a very specific camera, and the reason I got the camera that I did is because I've done a shit ton of research on that fucking camera. It's not a beginner camera. It's kind of like some high-tech shit. So like if you were just working with it initially, it's not, you know what I mean? There's a barrier of entry almost immediately.
Yeah.
Working
And
with a
so
different brand.
it was one of those things where I was just fucking terrified of, setting the shit up and it being wrong. But the problem is we kept shooting things with cameramen and it was blurry as, you know what I mean? And it wasn't their fault.
They just weren't familiar with that model or
They weren't familiar with the fucking camera.
I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Because
I
the
know.
thing is, the camera shoots and that's why, you'll notice some Welcome to Maines look fucking awesome. It looks like some National Geographic shit. And sometimes it looks kind of whack. And it's because I don't know how to use that fucking camera. I own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to pretend like it's their fault for fucking up and that's the thing is like, I don't want to blame anyone for the camera fucking up.
So you've basically taken ownership of that at
Fuck
this
yeah.
point. Yeah.
And then if I'm gonna be a fucking, if I'm gonna captain the ship, I might as well just fucking do it all, because then there might be a little bit more work on my plate, but then the actual workflow is easier because I know exactly what happened and how, you know what I mean? Like, it's all relative to my experience as opposed to me figuring out someone else's experience in editing or whatever the fuck it is.
Sure. It's nice to have hands-on in the project, not just the 10,000 foot view.
Yeah, like, dude, I like fucking cameras. Like, I would love to learn how to make that camera always look fucking good, Because that camera wants to always look good. It's the human error that's fucking it up.
Hold on, I'm gonna put my wife on the podcast. We might cut this, but just in case it's funny. Hey, babe, you're on the Stoved Up podcast. How are you?
Oh, Stoved Up podcast.
Well, that sounds really good.
Yeah, doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
All right, well, we just got done filming, and we're about to discuss the latest episode of Welcome to Maine, known as the Uncle Henrys. And so when we're done discussing that, I will be on my way home for some dickering down east.
Oh, dickering down east, huh? All right.
It's an inside joke. I don't even know. We're probably going to delete this. I'll be honest with you.
Dickory, doc. All right, I'll see you later.
All right, love you.
You too, baby.
All right, bye.
Me and Ian just housed slices of pizza while Paul was on the phone.
That was like a
Pizza
lunch break. That
Yeah,
was good.
good pizza break.
Absolutely. Hold on, let me.
That was just so perfect. I'm just like, I'm watching.
I'm a very
Paul
slow
while
eater.
I'm eating.
I just like choked on half that shit. I thought I was dying for half that conversation. I just went from thinking I was dying from Paul's stroke comment to then choking like a stroke victim on pizza. All right, so we did the Desert of Maine episode. The first one we did, it came out. It went well. Desert of Maine hated us, which is okay.
Wait,
That was
the
all right.
Desert of Maine, like the location, is not favorite.
So before the video, we were in like constant communication. They were very happy with me. They were so excited. And then we put the video out, and they ceased communication with me.
Really?
Oh, shit.
So I can only deduct, and they never shared it. It's definitely a black sheep in the family of entertainment over there.
What is so offensive about the Desert of Maine episode?
Probably
Is there a
just don't wanna
line
be
or two
known
that I'm
as,
not
like-
remembering?
They probably just don't want to be known for like hokey, like local stuff. They probably want to
No,
have. Like,
I mean they
ritzy-
because they want to do comedy shows there. There's a couple lines like, so regardless of what Mark's mother thinks, it's not just a gravel pit, like that kind of shit, where it's like some backhanded.
I don't think that's. I mean, wow.
If you're gonna be well,
It's called the Desert of Maine. That's kind of. It's
maybe I'm wrong.
insane.
Maybe they fucking love it.
I've actually never been there. So,
Oh, I've been there a few times.
as far as I know, it is a gravel pit. But, I mean,
The first time I ever saw Chinese finger traps was at the gift shop at the Desert of Maine in 4th grade.
that's a
It
learning
blew
moment.
my fucking mind.
What if I put one on every finger?
Oh, I immediately thought, can I fuck this thing? Can I fuck the Chinese finger trap?
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I could not.
So
Just
today,
like, Mom, it's stuck.
So Josh, so you filmed the Desert of Maine. What other episodes did you film?
Augusta, Stephen King,
So, yeah, that's right. So you did the Stephen King one,
and then
Paul Bunyan, and we shot Paul Bunyan twice.
Yeah, there was a catastrophic failure, and I watched Ian go through a little mental crisis when he thought that he also like lost all the Stephen King shit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I think it was shot on another card, and he was like, oh my God, it was shot on another card. Thank Jesus. Like, holy Mother Mary. Like, it was insane.
because that's quite the haul to lose your footage.
Yeah. We had no we had one chance to shoot that thing, and I really thought we lost. I knew for a fact we lost the first Paul Bunyan when we shot the entire thing. We lost it all, but I thought we didn't have the other one too, and I was like, fuck, there's no way of getting this back. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have the time. And luckily with the Paul Bunyan one, I don't even know how we did it, but we're like, all right, let's knock out a second one. Let's fucking do it. And we just slammed through a second one.
I think it was mainly because you'd already gone through it. You were like, all right, we already figured out what we liked. We were like, all right, just ram through it. Just go right.
You also
off
did the
wall.
Moxie episode.
Oh, yeah. And I think I was at Baked Beans
Oh, no shit.
at B&M.
Damn, dude, you were like...
The
You were in
first
a
couple.
fucking bunch. I didn't even
first
realize that.
couples.
You did a bunch of them.
I did a first few. I was like, oh, yeah.
Like classic Welcome to Maine.
And like
It
was
should make people then
insane.
feel cool. Like tonight we did some classic Welcome to Maine shit where Josh was behind the camera once again.
It was insane. And
Maybe that's a sign.
well, I mean, B&M is now historic. It's now no longer B&M.
Yeah, it's fucked.
It's wild.
I mean, I grew up in the area, and that place is iconic. You know what I mean? Anytime I did a fucking show up north, anytime I saw like the baked bean stack, I was like, oh, made it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, when you're
Fuck,
coming down
didn't-
that little stretch, that
didn't
little
hit
causeway.
a moose, didn't
yeah.
fucking die up in fucking Aroostook County.
And you got that video with the tower, the smokestack before it came down.
Well, it's funny. That's one of the original Welcome to Maine videos that continues to climb in views at a really steady pace because for some reason people keep sharing that, not because it's it's an okay episode, but more so it's like, I wish
It's
we
one of
did
the last videos of the stacks.
100%. It's also like, I wish, like, it's the same reason, like, I wish we did a video about Beach Ridge. You know what I mean? It's almost like in memorandum. People, have a lot
Hold
of...
on a second. Beach Ridge is gone?
Yes.
Yeah, they just sold it. Is it still
being
up?
turned into fucking... Maybe. I should go check it out.
You should. I mean, better late than
Yeah,
never.
I should go check that out. In all honesty. Yeah.
Being turned into what?
It's being turned into fucking condos.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just learned that on the podcast. I
There
didn't
was
know
a
that.
whole Save Beach Ridge Facebook group that I was a part of.
But I think it was like the owner's son like wanted to sell it, and
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a bunch of, like, in high school, I loved Beach Ridge. I went there a lot. I went to the fucking Destruction Derbies.
Oh,
Thursday Night Thunders.
I mean, if you could figure out like whoever is the property manager or whatever, you could probably message them and just be like, hey, could I just do, before you guys tear it down, if it's still up.
Well, I mean, the parking lot's right there. You can just
You can just show it from the outside.
You can just shoot it from the parking lot. I mean, I would rather just shoot it from the parking lot anyways. Like kind of where the entrance is.
Something recognizable.
The other thing too is I really want to do a video at fucking Scarborough Downs.
Oh,
I feel like Scarborough Downs would do well
I
with
think
our
that's
characters.
that's still active.
Well, I think they closed it down for a while, and I think it might be back. I could be wrong about that, but that might be shut down too. It might be back.
It was active a year ago, unless
Yeah.
it's in the meantime.
Have you ever been to fucking Scarborough Downs?
I drove through it.
You've never been inside though.
No, but I saw it.
You've never smoked a cigarette inside.
I used to work
while
at the
fucking
business
yelling
park
at TVs
next to Scarborough Downs.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Enterprise Way, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
I used to work there, and there was a Wiz Khalifa concert at Scarborough Downs.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And the
Mac Miller was
Scarborough
there.
police came to our office and said, because of, and I quote them, because of the nature of the concert, you might want to make sure every employee's cars are locked. In case concert goers were going to come
those
through the
fucking
parking lot.
Suburban kids from Wells?
Yeah.
Well, let me
You
tell
know
you.
Yuht kids, right? Yuht kids are gonna come and rip off your car.
Me and my friends went to that concert.
You what?
Me and my friends went to that concert.
Yeah.
Mac Miller was there. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a fun show.
What?
It was a
Yeah.
big deal.
It was a
Damn.
good time.
But I never went. There were some employees who went over to the tracks to bet during lunch.
So have you ever done it?
No, but here's what I've heard. I've just heard it's a cigarette den
Yep.
with like loose
Yes.
ceiling tiles
Yes.
and like the 70s never left, but also were
Yes.
never updated or cleaned or maintained.
It is like betting small sums of money in a airport from the 1970s.
I'm still processing this. Cigarettes inside?
All right, so you walk in, and it looks like a terminal to like a fucking. It looks like a terminal to like the train cars in hell. Like you arrive in hell and it's brightly lit. It's like brightly lit and also
Hey,
dark.
welcome to hell.
Yeah, well, it's like brightly lit and dark at the same time. You know what I
Don't
mean? You
forget
just,
your
like,
tokens.
yeah, exactly. So you walk in and there's like a bunch of like screens and TVs and like TVs fucking, and it's not even like flat screens. It's like big chunky TVs from the 1980s,
man.
all over the place. And so to your left is like the ticket booths where you buy your tickets and shit like that. And there in that room is like kind of like a bigger, it's almost like a waiting room to like the shittiest doctor's office you ever been in like the betting room. And then beyond that room is a glassed room, the same size with the same like airport furniture, where it's TVs again, 1980s TVs, but everyone's standing up and smoking.
Oh, it's like
and screaming at the television, smoking, pacing
I've been to
around.
a bowling alley that had like a smoking chamber.
Yeah.
Like that. That
So,
was like a ventilated like room.
Yeah.
For the smokers.
Yeah.
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 That's so cool.
Yeah. And right next to that is the bar. And the bar is the saddest bar you've ever been to in your fucking life.
Oh man.
I don't know. It can't be
And
that sad.
the bartender is a comedy fan, because I walked in there with another comedian and he was like, "Hey, what's up, man? This beer's on me." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, man." And he's like, "Yeah, I've seen you do comedy." And I was like, "Wow,
People give you beers?
I have a very strange life."
Wow. So you had just told us a story and I told you to stop because I thought it would be better for the podcast
Yeah.
of you recently receiving money on stage.
Wait, before we get into that, I still want to do the arc of what was the last episode you did with Welcome to Maine? Before we get into the $50
I
stage.
think you messaged me about some episode. I couldn't do it because I had a COVID scare.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I messaged you. You couldn't
Maybe
do it.
the
So then I feel
Lobsterman?
like I did it myself and it looked really good, type of thing. No, you
Yeah.
did the Lobsterman one.
Yeah, I think that was the
You
last
did the
one.
Lobsterman one that we actually ended up not using.
Right. 'cause
And we
it had
redid the
original-
Lobster one way down the line. That was an old script that I like revamped and shot like 15 episodes after that shit.
It was like the time of day. I think we were at, I can't remember the first one, but it was something we did B&M. And then you were like, I think we did B&M, and then you were like, "Oh yeah, let's bang out the Lobsterman." I was like, I got the afternoon off. I'm like, all right, let's go. And but it was like later in the afternoon. It was a little dark, if I remember. But yeah, no, that was like a year ago at this point. So I mean, Welcome to Maine's been going on for that long, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
No, and I
Fun
think
time.
that's what happened is basically I couldn't get anyone to film for me. Then I filmed it, and I thought it turned out just as good, if not better, than anytime I had anyone else film it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it myself.
The only reason to have me is just to make sure it's still recording.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Like
No.
that's
Actually, today the
real-
battery was on absolute low, so I needed that. I would have no confidence.
Exactly. I
Alright.
mean, you could flip your screen, to face you. That camera screen, you could flip it around so it faces you.
That fucks up so many people because instead of looking at the lens,
Oh, they'll look
they
at
look
the
at the
screen.
fucking screen, and it makes them look like a
Oh.
dog about to bite someone. Like their fucking eyes get all like sideways.
Yeah, 'cause it's not right on with the camera.
The whale eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look like we were in like
Yep.
the fucking the stay at after school program with reading.
Someone's in the corner just like about ready to kick your ass. You're just like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, it's not a
No,
good look.
that's that makes sense. That makes sense. I didn't really think of it that way until you were like, and I was like, oh yeah.
But also, when you do that, or when you look down, it makes it look like you're reading. Especially if you know what you're looking at with anything like televised, you can tell when people are reading if you know the look.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at the camera, it has that look of like you're not in. You know what I mean? You're not into it.
You'll see the eyes kind of flicker,
Yeah.
like from like where.
Or even people like because they'll try not to do it. Their eyes will dart. So if you don't have that there, you're just looking right at the fucking lens.
That makes sense.
$50. So what happened is me and Josh at the comedy show up at Sears, my fucking Maine, dude. Up at Threshers, great beer, awesome. I would say better pizza. The pizza was fucking phenomenal.
So the pizza at the beer place was better than the beer at the beer place?
So they did. They didn't have their IPA.
Oh, and
So and I'm an IPA.
and
guy.
you're just particular.
So it was like there was like I can't remember what it was, but it was not like an IPA. So the
Okay.
beer was okay. I
You had
still
a
drank it.
Kolsch or something.
Yeah, it was like some shit like that.
Sure.
But the pizza was surprising, and the thing is, like, I don't know what the fuck I ordered like a pepperoni pizza or some shit like that, like something like easy. I didn't want like a lot of meat on it that night, And so it was like just like a pepperoni pizza. But the way they cooked it, and I didn't order it like this, they did like a garlic white sauce instead of like their red sauce.
Oh.
And for some reason, it just like worked with the olives they had so fucking good. Where I was like, holy shit! It was like finding new porn. We're like, this is a category.
This is a
like,
search
what
term
the
I can get
fuck
down
is
with. Yeah.
this? I was like, well, I know what I'm doing for a fucking month. You know what I mean? Garlic in the pizza, bro. Like,
so good.
The white sauce is not
Dude.
at all.
it was. Well, you know, it reminded me a lot, almost like a really good, Amato's, fucking Pazzo bread.
Yeah.
Like a really good version of that, but like with olives, and it was fucking dope.
Ooh, that sounds so. Honestly, all their options were like crazy.
Do I
cool.
sound like I have a stroke still?
No.
You sound
Fucking
good.
terrified. I'm
Sound
dying in my sleep tonight.
Do you have sleep apnea?
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh, nice, solid.
Yeah.
No, but dude, their pizza was all they had cool things. Like, I almost got the crab rangoon pizza, which had like crab rangoon like things like in the sauce, like crab rangoon like cream cheese and
Yeah, they had a bunch of like creative pizzas.
Man.
But anyways, the audience was actually pretty good. The audience was fun, and I did like a shit ton of crowd work because I was lazy, and I was like roasting this table. And so here's the thing. So I walk in, and there's like a bunch of like straight up fucking rednecks sitting at the middle table, and this dude who looked like a guy who definitely does not know what the internet is was like, "Hey, are you the TikTok guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely like a guy that does TikTok videos." And he was like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? Like I feel like I got it. Like I for some reason he didn't look like a TikTok. Like he didn't look like he was into it, but I could tell like he was into it, and so I could just tell that like I would get this middle table immediately, but almost like a fucking flower. You know what I mean? Like I middle out, I would like get all the other tables if I could just get them. So the show starts. And instead of doing jokes, I just start talking to them. So like the crowd starts like getting into it and shit like that. I go out, you know, do my shit, get them into it, bring the first comic on. They get into the first comic, start building it. And then like 2 comics in, I start like just like, you know, going off. I'm going to do a fucking full like crowd work, you know, 20 minutes of it. And I'm fucking with like, you know, this older guy next to me who's like covered in blood, like literally covered in fucking blood, literally covered in dried blood.
Hold on. What?
Yeah, literally his boots and his pants and his shirt is covered in dried blood.
Dexter.
It maybe a deer, maybe a human, covered in blood.
And no one else has addressed this.
Oh, they love that I'm talking to him. Like everyone is like that's how I really start. That's the first hook. Okay. I start talking with the dude who's covered in blood. I said, "You look like the kind of guy that would clean a Bowie knife by licking it." You know what I mean? Just like fucking man shit. And the other thing too, he's with his wife who. Every time I say something crazy and outlandish, she goes, "That's true. Do you know him?" Like I'll say like the craziest shit. Like this guy looks like he's fucked deer. She's like, "That's true." Do you know him?
She's gonna admit to everything.
It's fucking
Yeah.
nuts. So
I love her.
So I then turn my tides to the fucking middle table. I start going on them, and the guy, the TikTok guy, I could tell he was into it. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna give him the Gallagher experience. He's getting all the fucking watermelon. So I just went at him, and at a certain point, he literally, out of his pocket, takes out a $50 bill and just hands me a $50 bill like he surrendered. Like, I bullied him out of money with jokes. But he was like, he was pumped. It was not a bad, he was not having a bad, but he was like,
wild.
It was like being a stripper that's getting tipped. You know what I mean? Where I was like,
Wow.
oh shit.
I've
Like,
never
I'm really
received
shaking
money.
my booty.
Yeah, it makes me jealous of you in that moment as a comedian, and simultaneously as jealous of strippers. You know, just like thinking,
Dude, it makes me jealous of like a fucking dude. Dude, I wish I could tip people $50.
I wish people instead of they clapping just gave me money.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be way different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved the narrative of like him tipping you the $50, then like just to like you know show off in front of his friends. Goes home, he's like, "Man, I really shouldn't have fucking done that."
Like his cell phone shut off next month. Like that would be
Not
sad.
even next
I
month, like
needed
next day.
I also love the idea that you shook somebody down in the audience by heckling them.
We're smashing them out.
Yeah, just roasting somebody in the audience until they're like, "I'll just pay this guy to stop beating me up verbally." Yeah.
No, it was. I had a good time. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. It was definitely like a 2-hour drive. Maybe a little less than 2
Yeah,
hours.
it
It's
was like a
almost to
solid hour and a
Belfast
half.
on Route 3.
It was a solid hour and a half.
Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. And the other thing too is like, I like those. I like the shows in the middle of nowhere. It's like the house at the end of the book, The Giver. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, is this real? Am I seeing the lights through the trees, or am I dying right now? And it turns out you're at a brewery in fucking Searsmont. I fucking like
glad
that
this
shit.
is actually here.
Yeah. By the way, if you're a fan of Welcome to Maine, you get that Giver reference, then you went to 3rd grade.
That was right about the time I stopped reading books in school. It was like I read The Giver, and then it was like, all right, next is Anne Frank's Diary, and I was like, I think I'm gonna.
The reason I
pass.
bring up The Giver is that's a book that, like, there's a few books that we read as children that, like, fucked me up. Like, didn't, like, the girl get euthanized in The Giver?
I'm pretty sure it
That's
was like she
fucking
got killed.
insane. Why? Who is like, you know what? Let's have children read this book. Let's have the children read the little girl getting euthanized, and then a boy stealing a baby and freezing to death in the woods.
Oh God, I forgot
what the
about this.
fuck?
I read Kite Runner in high school. That was also dark.
Ugh.
Yeah,
All right, this is not
I
a
know.
book club.
Yeah, no.
All right, so. Oh my fucking god. We just filmed. We just filmed a brand new fucking episode. Now, this episode is the first time that we are seeing characters out of the traditional Troy and Mark motif. This one is Mark and Mark's cousin Lucas, that we introduced in the Pit Parties episode. The reason I'm doing that is, like, I like the idea of having and you know, it's fun. Like, we'll get into that. I like having a character with a harder edge. I can write kind of like more tuned to like my actual humor as opposed to trying to write to a broader audience, which I still want to do. I like having like that kind of like that little fucking edge.
It's a little bit of a mix. Let's mix it up a little.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think people, when they see this episode, they kind of got what I was going with the Pit Party episode, and I will say that Pit Party episode got like a lot of like really good reviews. A lot of people have come up to me and said hi, and when they bring up the Pit Party episode. A lot of people like that shit, which is fucking awesome because I really feel like I was taking a chance. I wasn't sure. I thought people were, maybe some people weren't going to dig it. It's out of the norm. People don't like change, and it seemed like people really dug it. And I think people are going to like this as well. And I think it's great that we have Josh. I did not remember that you were behind like classic Welcome to Maine.
Right in the beginning.
Like classic Welcome to Maine.
What I love with the Luke thing, it's like you're finding that edge. Like it's kind of like a hockey stop where you're just digging into the ice. You're like finding something. You're like, let's try another one. Let's do another. See how that works out. I like the little edgier stuff, especially where it's a different character.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
it.
I don't want to. I don't want to jinx myself, but I've talked to a couple people outside of Welcome to Maine that are at different positions than I am, and their idea for Welcome to Maine is, and not to say I'm taking anyone's idea, but it's they both praise these two completely different people that I wanted to talk to and enjoyed talking to about Welcome to Maine. They both praised the idea of expanding Welcome to Maine outside of just two characters, and really kind of taking like the reins on making Welcome to Maine a world and not just a fucking, experience.
And it's like, and in all the Welcome to Maines, because of that dynamic, you have something to expect every time. There's a format that is going to happen, but
this is like when you get pickles and it's like, plus it's spicy. And you're like,
a little bit.
There's a little bit of spice in this one? All right, we'll try this.
Because like Troy is such a welcoming, he's like your best buddy that you're just
that's the
seeing
idea.
again
100%.
at the end of a long period of time. Like, oh my God, it's Troy. What's up, man? He's like, welcome to Maine. Where here with Lucas
is coming off a hangover.
When you see
every
Lucas,
time.
you're like, he looks mad, like I might owe him money.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
is
the angle, and I think that's as resonant.
The Welcome to Maine cinematic universe, man.
Oh, it's
Movie franchises, dude.
W2MCU.
Well, I mean, I talked about in the first fucking episode of this podcast, but I'm writing a pilot for a TV show, and I'm trying the idea for it's easy to write one character's voice and then one dude that just goes like yacht. You know what I mean? Like to add like a secondary voice and like trying to do that mindfully. Like it's not just these are the same words. I'm like trying to write from a different perspective, which I'm trying to do. It's kind of like the springboard I'm using to write this pilot. You know what I mean? Like I need to come up with more voices in my fucking head than just the yeah, you know, that kind of shit. So I enjoy it. I think it's like it's evolving, and I think that's a good thing for sure.
Absolutely, that's dope. That's super cool.
So you were behind the camera. We filmed it down in my basement. Paul was obviously acting right beside me. What'd you guys think of the experience? Ben?
Good measure. Oh, sorry.
I had a lot of. I mean, I'll just say I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun because it was a little bit of a different vibe in the sense that like it was my second go around.
Well, also filming with you is different too because you have a more of a. James literally comes from like a traditional acting, like he was a childhood actor. He comes from like an acting back. He's down for like the fucking lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have more of like I would say like a comedy improv spirit. So working with you jam out a little bit more, which is fun.
I'm a jazz musician with those lines, and mostly because I didn't learn them ever. So I'm
like half looking at the
lines.
I'm
like reading them, and then 10 seconds later being like, "Oh, did I say that right? I have no idea." Or riffing on it to where I'm waiting for Ian to go. That's nothing like I wrote it.
Well, no, as long as the lines develop, as long as the line is delivered, in a good way, then
it's
I
also
can give a fuck.
I think it's also the same way I write my comedy. Like some people when they write their jokes for stand up, they will write it out word for word.
Yeah.
Like this is the way the cadence, this is where the comma goes, this is exactly when I say this. And for me, I write the name of the joke, I write the key punchlines, and however I get there, it is what makes it seem natural to me. It's like it's not really embedded. There are certain things I say the same every time, but it's not. There's no rhythm aside from where I end up.
I would actually say your character is very similar to your stand-up because you use only in the way that you use a lot of throwaways in your stand-up comedy. Like you use it. I would say I would almost marquee your stand-up with that, where you're the king of like you say the joke. I mean, you get the punchline. You have the setup. You have the punchline, you have the tag, and then you have this other tag of like kind of like under your breath that sums up the whole thing, and it's usually a bigger pop. It might be the lowest decibel joke that you're telling, but it's the biggest pop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think you do the same thing with Welcome to Maine, where your character and your charm comes from like that secondary like and this, you know what I mean?
Right.
We did it a lot tonight where there were a couple times where even after I said Yuht, you continued to riff, and we did a Yuht after that riff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was definitely it was like being in a band with like a drummer, and then you finish the song, and then the drummer was like didn't better than that. You know what I mean?
and even if we don't keep it, that's great. But it's
but
there.
that's what I'm saying. Like then I have a sound bite. You know what I
Right.
mean? Then I have extra shit to use. It's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah. I think what's freeing for me is that like I know you're gonna cut anything after the punchline that's not worth anyone's time. So if I can, I'm gonna just throw something at. It's like training for dirt bike jumps into the foam pit.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, I'll cut words so sentences sound different. It really comes down to like performance.
Yeah.
And like I can't up the performance in editing. That's gotta, you know what I mean? It's gotta be the real thing. So the more the actor is comfortable with like, you can tell it's more comfortable for you to kind of throw your own energy into it than memorize and develop. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's a good thing. It gives me more to work with.
Yeah, I do feel like I work harder, ironically, than it would have been to just learn the lines. But I didn't know them, you know. So and that's almost better. It's almost better because like I'm learning how that the jokes are funny.
I think it's good for the character too. The character seems like the kind of like it gives your character almost like a distinct edge.
Yeah. I like that.
Like that shrug. I kind of like get. You know what I mean?
If you're riffing, it's natural. I like the idea that it comes across like, oh, that's what someone would say, not like okay, this is the thing I hate. You ever been to a high school graduation, especially not your own? Do you know what the worst part of the high school graduation is? the valedictorian speech.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the same shit cadence. Like, when they told me I'd have to give a speech for my classmates, I wasn't sure what I was going to write. So I went to Mr. Johnson's class, and he told me chemistry is great. And it's just like it's like inside
We've
jokes.
been together for 12
And
years.
these 4 years have been incredible.
I don't know what a vagina tastes like.
Yeah.
But
Like, you want the kid who gave away their prime of their life for books to tell you about life. Like, that's the most ironic moment of the high school graduation. But it's
when the kid that still plays with Legos at 18
Yeah.
is fucking telling you about going to Harvard.
I mastered erector sets by 17. It was astounding. Let me tell
Shout
you.
out to my friends in the
Here is-
robotics club.
Here is what
We
life
had
means.
so many fun times with Mr. B.
My graduation was super cool, though. We had our substitute teacher do one of the speeches, but here's the kicker. He was a background actor and executive producer on Star Trek, the one with William Shatner.
Whoa.
And he was also an executive producer on Wheel of Fortune.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, that's you know what's the most
actually
confusing
kinda
about
lit.
that story is that guy with that career was a substitute teacher at the end.
Dude, he was old. Dude, he's like, he's old.
I feel like that dude has a drug problem.
Probably.
Like, that sounds like that. It sounded like it went spiraling down. It's not like he was aiming for substitute teacher. It sounds.
Yeah, I was a Bollywood star, but
Yeah.
now I just work at Denny's.
Dude,
Yeah.
he was old, though. He lived it.
Sounds like a dude missing a leg recruiting people of the army.
just an eye patch.
It's so fucked up. I'm cutting that out. That's getting cut out.
But yeah, no.
So what do you think of the of coming back on? It's like
I like
we've done
it.
like 40 fucking episodes since the last time.
I laughed. I mean, that's all that mattered. I mean, it's campy humor. It's like very specific audience. I like it. It's Maine humor is always gonna make me laugh because I know the state. I'd like to think pretty well, but I always think, like, you know, hey, from the ones I did early on to where we're at now, where you're at now, if I laugh, I'm like, oh yeah, that means it's good, and that's really just no. I'm all set. Thank you. I gotta drive home.
I have 2 beers left. I don't want to have them in my fridge.
Nice, smart.
So maybe Paul's gonna do it.
Paul, you're gonna have to man up.
ASMR of the episode.
Fuck yeah,
the beer opening.
What were we fucking talking about?
Just talking about
How good you are at writing episodes.
Ugh, fuck no.
I honestly thought, though, having only seen other episodes but not the scripts, and then having seen one other script, that this one about the Uncle Henry's
Yeah.
was a lot of like solid jokes where like
It was a little dirtier. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with it, dude. I am excited about it, man. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I'm fucking pumped.
yeah.
Slight tinge of dirt.
Yeah.
Little bit.
Guess what I'm doing tomorrow? Editing that fucking episode with a. I'm pumped. I gotta do some B-roll. I gotta shoot some B-roll, but there's some good shit in there.
What sort of B-roll will you be shooting? Like the Uncle Henry's at the gas station?
Yeah. No, I'll probably shoot a shot of like the Uncle Henry's like on my table. I'll shoot a shot of like the scratch ticket. I'll shoot a shot of the burner behind us. I'll shoot like some like a B-roll of like the Oh, what? Oh, hi, Cash. Hi, buddy. Cash? Nope. Definitely not for you. Definitely not for you. My elderly dog has come into the podcast arena, and it's looking like he's coming up on the couch. There you go.
Oh, he's
Wow.
a cutie patootie.
Old man. What the fuck were we just
We were talking
dude.
about B-roll for Uncle Henry's episode.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll shoot some B-roll. So I don't even want to get into that shit. Fuck. I mean, I think
That's the
I
meat and
think if you
potatoes.
are into Welcome to Maine, I think you are gonna like the Uncle Henry's one. I think it's gonna be dirty enough where. Here's the thing: is Welcome to Maine. When we have an edge on the episode, people share the episode, and when it's kind of like some fluffy, haha, we're all having fun. Less people share it. Yeah, I think it's less special when people are like, oh, check this out. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the Uncle Henry one is I think it's gonna be good.
But
Yeah.
not over. It's not too edgy though. That's why.
No, it's not
just
like
the
it's not a
right-
fucking X-rated. No one's dicks out or anything like that.
Exactly. It's just the right amount.
So just kind of like getting to know us. What is your favorite place to get a sandwich in Maine?
A sandwich in Maine.
Ooh,
Yeah,
so many options.
I'm gonna go with my favorite sandwich first, only because I asked a question. And I'll let you guys think about it. The local press in Portland, Maine, is owned by a friend of mine. Great fucking sandwich shop, and they got a side bar with a bunch of good beers. We've done some comedy shows there. They do a sandwich called The Dude, based on The Big Lebowski. Turkey sandwich with chipotle mayo, avocado, bacon, lettuce, cheddar cheese.
That's so good.
It's fucking awesome.
So
the
good.
first thing I could eat after I got out of the hospital, when I had to stay over for the hospital, was one of those fucking sandwiches.
Oh, nice.
So that's, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
Monumental.
Fucking love that sandwich.
Have you ever been to Big G's?
Dude, I keep hearing about it.
So I went to
where's
Winslow
that?
High School.
Yeah.
Okay, and Winslow Middle School is just up the road. If you keep going towards Benton on that side of the river across from Waterville, Big G's is on your right. And they serve sandwiches the size of dinner plates. So when you get a full sandwich, you're like, I'm taking half of it for a friend or half of it home. A half sandwich is probably more than enough. And every single one is exactly like your best sandwich places. They're named after celebrities or movies or whatever.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that's where I think of when I think of sandwiches. I haven't been there in years. I graduated in 2001, so I haven't been to Big G's in quite a while. But I will say, recently, have you been to Sebago? Sebago Brewing, the restaurant.
Which one?
The tasting room, or I'm in Gorham, so the tasting room or the other one in Gorham.
So I like the one in so that's like the menu's completely different.
Yeah.
My parents live near the tasting room.
Yeah.
And it's like all like gastro pubby.
It is a little gastro
shit.
but they have at the other one they have this sandwich that has pears, turkey, cheese.
I know what you're talking about. I've had
forget
that a
the
few
name of it.
times.
And I didn't think I was like, oh,
like a panini.
pears in my sandwich.
Yeah.
And that actually is pretty good.
Oh, it slaps.
Yeah.
That one's okay. Dude, Hannaford used to do fucking paninis. And they had this chicken mozzarella pesto sandwich that was like $4.99. It was fucking insane. It was insane. Like, dude, I would get it all the fucking time. The reason I got man tits right now is that sandwich.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking just like dripping
Love
in
that.
butter and fucking the
So-
mozzarella.
so
Dude,
good.
it's just so fucking good. Pesto, chicken,
Man, at
mozzarella.
Hannaford.
Yeah, they used to have a panini press out back in the deli.
You ever been out of state and gone to a grocery store that's not Hannaford and been like, what do you guys do? Like, what? This isn't real.
Oh, dude, when I walk into Market Basket, it was like walking into Mars. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to a Market Basket outside the state of Maine?
Yeah, for sure.
It is insane. So I worked on the road. I sold industrial equipment to businesses on the road. So I'd go to Market Baskets like in Massachusetts, in like Springfield, and like all those places. That's like people watching at Walmart to like the next level.
Wow.
It's insane.
You guys ever been to a Wegmans?
No, what is that like? A gas station kinda
Wegmans
deal?
is a northern New York. At least I know it in like the Geneva, New York area, but like northern New York grocery store, and it's like Hannaford on steroids. It's like Hannaford and Walmart had a baby
I kind of like that.
Why do you say that?
because of the size of it. Is like a bigger Hannaford. That's all I could. That's the way. It's like a larger than life Hannaford is how I would describe it.
I like that.
I
My
like it a
favorite
lot.
sandwich. Hear me out. To go non-traditional, not like Italian or whatnot. Banh mi. I like a banh mi. It's a Vietnamese sandwich. Now, a banh mi from this place called Bon Appetit. It's right on Cumberland Ave, right in Portland, right by Munjoy Hill, and they're really cheap sandwiches. They're like the most expensive one with like their lemongrass beef is like $8, and it's like a fully loaded sandwich. You got the beef. It's on like a French style like baguette kind of roll.
Yeah.
And carrots, daikon, a little parsley. No, not parsley.
What is
cilantro.
daikon?
It's like a carrot. It's a root vegetable.
I have never heard of that in my fucking life.
And
Yeah, me
it's
either.
carrots are a little sweeter. Daikon's a little more bitter. But they're pickled and they're like julienne, so they're the tall, thin way.
That's hipster young kid shit.
Dude,
right there.
it's a Vietnamese sandwich. It's very traditional, and it's so delicious.
What are you looking at? You're looking at your watch like you're Batman.
I know. My downstairs neighbor was like, "Hey, you still trying to do
Mr.
a yard
Gordon
sale?
calling.
Trying to do a yard. What?
A yard sale at my apartment."
Are you doing a yard sale?
Yeah, we're thinking about it.
All right.
Yep.
What are you gonna sell?
What are you selling?
All the junk in our basement.
What do you have?
A bunch of like old pottery shit, like kilns and like a bunch of clay left from previous tenants.
Which one of your roommates went to Mecca?
None. It's been like this apartment's had like new roommates filter in over the past 2 years, on this like current lease that the landlord has. Me and my other roommate Wyatt have lived there the longest, which is about a year and a half.
So you're sure none of them went to Mecca?
Yeah.
Like no one had purple hair on one side and pink hair on the other?
When I lived there, no art students.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. I lived with a Trump supporter that did CrossFit. I worked with a guy that has long hair and is balding in the front, and it's like your long hair, Ian, but like if it was severely thin.
Like
Go to
they're making up for the front with all the stuff in the back.
Yeah.
It's like a mullet
Sounds
without
like a dude
the
that
mull.
still listens to like power metal.
It's just an et.
Oh no, EDM hardcore.
Oof.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, so sandwiches
Yeah, bond me, dude.
on
Oh.
me. Favorite bar. Favorite
Ooh.
bar in Maine, not in Portland. I want like out of the way, crazy fucking bar. Is my favorite bar in this realm is the Rack at Sugarloaf.
Ooh.
You ever been there?
Yes.
It's fucking
A lot of fun.
insane.
Great area.
It's like a skiing Applebee's. There's like a fucking gondola that you sit in up top on the second floor, looking down. I've done comedy in every room of that bar.
Wow. Wait, so can
That's
we
such a nice
can we
bar.
do bars that don't exist anymore?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh man. Oh, that's hard.
I know. I'm still
What
thinking.
what bars are those?
Well, I mean, I did a lot of stand-up comedy open mics in Portland, and those are the bars I spent the most times in.
Would you go to
Most time in.
Dude, if you could go to a time machine, go to Slancha, get a $5 quesadilla.
I would go back to 2015 Slancha.
Yeah.
2013 Slancha would be just as good. Actually, probably a little bit better. 2012 Slancha, 2011 Slancha, right on Preble Street.
Yeah.
Would be dope. I work literally in an office across the street now in the old Portland Public Market.
Oh shit.
And so I don't always go into work, but when I'm there, I look at that and I just think of like, goddamn, like that had so many great hosts. And like, I got to be one of those hosts for a couple of years where I got to park in that little alley next to it.
Yeah.
And that's the most baller parking spot in Portland, by the way.
So many homeless people banged under the roof of your car.
Oh, for sure. I only had one gun pulled on me in that alley.
Only one.
Yeah. By another comic who was drunk.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, if and he denies pulling guns on people, but he definitely does.
No, he had that 9mm out for me and Brian. I was bringing Brian home, or Brian not to home, but to his car, which is a few blocks away, and he pulled the 9mm out and then started chatting up with us. But he was so drunk that like I couldn't tell. Is he threatening me by pointing it at me? Because it was pointed, but like at an angle, but not quite gangster angle, but like drunken gangster at the low angle. And I was like, but he's just talking to me, like shooting the shit, but not shooting me. You know, that was really the point.
Damn.
You have no idea. This comedy scene used to be fucking insane. You have no idea.
Yeah.
I missed the Renaissance of it. I gotta
You know what?
make this.
Nah,
This
it's
will
all
never make
boring
this will
and
never make the
wokey.
podcast, but Portland comedy back in the day when the Comedy Connection was open,
Yeah.
and this is full circle for me now.
I was working at the Comedy Connection right before right.
I
right
had
before I
left
went to Slancha.
Manhattan. I was living in Manhattan, got into a dirt bike accident with no health insurance.
Oh shit.
Basically moved back to Maine overnight and came back and submitted tapes from fucking the New York Improv to the Comedy Connection, and they wouldn't book me. They like were. I literally sent them two VHS tapes. One was an original that I don't have anymore, and one was like a copy of a different tape that I had gotten at a different date. I had sent them to them. Never heard back. It was all like Bob Marley's playground at the time. Love Bob Marley. No offense there, but like they had no intention of giving me the time of day, so I never did. And I worked in other rooms. Acoustic Coffee was the first open mic.
I did Acoustic Coffee.
Acoustic Coffee was the first
When I
open
was still
mic
in high
in
school.
Portland that and a Connection was against it. They didn't want an open mic. So the whole idea of comedy is like, well, how do I get good enough to go on stage? it was a catch-22. It's like, we need 10 years experience, but you got to be right out of college. It's like that. So it's like, well, how do I get better? So Acoustic Coffee was like the punk rock of comedy. It wasn't always good, but it was an open mic, and we did it for years.
I went there one time to do stand-up comedy before. So I did stand-up comedy when I was still in high school. The Comedy Connection at the time didn't care if you were underage and you went to their bar. So me and my friends would go to the Comedy Connection, and the other thing too with the Comedy Connection was like you'd go there on a Wednesday night, and after you left, they'd give you this free ticket that said, "Hey, come back, and here's 2 free tickets for the next Sunday night or the next Wednesday night." So you'd bring friends, and again, they weren't carding anyone. So you'd go to these fucking comedy shows, and that's how I got hooked. When I was like a sophomore in high school, I was going to the fucking comedy bar, and I then got into stand-up comedy. And there really were no open mics. It was one of those things where you had to be booked by a certain dude for showcase nights at the Comedy Connection. It'd be like once every 2 months. If you wanted to work some shit out, man, there was nothing there except for Acoustic Coffee. And I went there right before I went to college. And actually, I got a bunch of experience in college doing stand-up comedy. But before I went, I did one night at Acoustic Coffee, and it was I did 2 nights at Acoustic Coffee. And they were both the craziest things I'd ever seen. Where like there was like a homeless contingency, where like I just remember like both nights hearing like the most like off, fucked up, crazy shit.
Yeah.
My buddy, who is now a poet, I'm not gonna say his name. He's now a well-respected poet where he lives. He lives way, way far away now. But he was cutting his teeth at this place too, and the open mic I think was like kind of like an all-encompassing open mic, or maybe I went to a different night with him there doing poetry.
There was a specific comedy open mic. However, it encompassed people who just like didn't have a spoken word night.
It definitely had like that coffee shop vibe.
Yeah, it was like whatever you wanted to do, and you thought it might be funny, you could do it.
So I remember going to see my friend. We're in high school this time, and he's like, "Yo, I'm doing poetry, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Cool." And I always thought like poetry was like, and this is me doing poetry now. I like pigs, chickens, and cows. Like that, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking like, but he was doing like this crazy shit. Like obviously he was like off the deep end. He's like doing some real poetry shit. And he had this whole thing where like he had this whole verse and he went into it, but then like he had this tangent where he's like, and sucking and fucking and sucking and fucking and sucking and now he's like withering to the ground, and I was just like, yo, my comedy's gonna do very bad after this. It's not gonna do very well. I'm gonna fucking bomb very hard.
The first time I have a joke called punk covers, which is making fun of the fact that any joke can be made in any song, can be made into a punk cover with 3 basic things. The first time I ever did it, I was working in New Hampshire at my boss's house, like finishing his house, like painting and staining his house, and I drove from like basically North Conway down to Portland on the wrong night, or on a night that they didn't show up for stand up. Like it was like a night that they had omitted, like it was Wednesday that they weren't doing it, and I was like, oh shit, there was like 5 people there, and the guy was like, you want to go up anyway? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go up anyway. Because I had practiced in the car the whole way down. Like, my vocal cords were, like, wrecked from, like, doing punk cover impressions. And I got down there. And the first time I did it, I do 3 different songs with punk covers where, like, I do Tiny Dancer, which is actually based on the Me First and the Gimme Gimmes version of Tiny Dancer. Yeah. Then I do Me and Julio, also Me First and the Gimme Gimme song. And then I do, I used to do Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places.
Great song.
Nice. But now I do Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the whole thing is like, when I first did it, the first night, people were like really into the first song, but I did the whole song.
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't just do like a couple bars. I did the whole song, and then I went on to the next song and did the whole song, and went on to the third song, and I did 9 minutes worth of like vocal acapella guitar riff songs.
Well,
and
if you don't know Paul is an extraordinary singer. Comedy, I would say he is a stand-up comedian and also a musical comedian.
Yeah.
Like, music's definitely always a part of your act.
It comes from a history of musical theater growing up.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, how did you get into singing?
in 4th grade, Ian, in China, Maine, there was a China Baptist church. Okay,
yeah. Oh,
and
dude,
I was not religious. My dad is actually very much. My dad wasn't very religious, but he was into musical theater. As he was in the past. So the only musical theater in my area was the China Baptist Church, and the China Baptist Church had a program called Kids Choir. Now listen, you had to pray, but you also got to be in musicals, and the musicals had a pretty good attendance, and they did them at theaters or at the high school, like where we had like, you know, a couple hundred people. So I got into musical theater there. We did like...
Were you ever, because you're very naturally confident on stage, were you ever worried about crowds or audiences or any of that shit?
You know what's weird about me is I hate with a passion being in front of 10 people I know.
Yeah.
Like when your family at Thanksgiving is like, Paul, tell them some of them jokes you did at Aura. It's a different atmosphere for me than like, hey, Paul, here's 30,000 people just randomly, and you probably don't know 90% of them. I'm down, like every time. I don't like the intimacy of people I know. That way. Yeah, no, because like when I'm on stage, I'm not Paul Hunt. I'm not like myself. I'm a little bit of a exaggerated version at best. I'm not myself. I mean, I have opinions, but like Paul Hunt doesn't go on the stage. Paul Hunt is a little bit behind the scenes, making sure that this is a funny version of that, right?
Dude, I'm the same. I am a character of myself on stage.
So if I know people personally who are sitting in front of me, they see through that. They're like, oh, that's not the guy that drove us over here.
He's not the guy at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he's a different guy. So like, if you don't know me,
unless he's drinking, then he's exactly this guy.
Yeah, if you don't know me, it's the first time we've met on stage, and I now control your expectations. Yeah. I now get to set the bar, and I get to kind of walk you through the set, and that's where I get comfortable, because my goal in the first 30 seconds is to get a laugh and gauge the rest of the set based on that first laugh. That's what that first joke is about. It's not very smart. It's not super clever, but it's enough that if you're paying attention, you should at least I should notice that you're watching. Like I should at least get a chuckle out of you. And then
you're like the Sasquatch throwing the rock to see what they do.
Yeah, see what you guys do.
What do you
guys have clear?
Because
I have infrared.
I got more rocks, or I can just come eat you.
You guys got guns? No,
no guns. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah, so I come steal your trash, come steal your garbage, and kill everybody and your dog.
Now what? So what came? So I'm guessing obviously the music came first, but was music? So like I don't have any fucking talents as far as talents I bring on stage with my stand-up comedy. Like, you know what I mean? Like as far my stand-up comedy is kind of like stand-up comedy, and like, dude, there was a time, like there have been times where I've treated stand-up comedy like the way that I treated like hardcore punk music, where I was like, this is all we're fucking doing. It's just stand-up comedy, no yo-yo tricks, no guitar, no nothing. We're fucking doing stand-up. Which I now know is fucking absolutely moronic. A laugh's a laugh, comedy's comedy.
Yeah.
I will say this, like, the singing part of it is not where I started with comedy. I didn't sing in comedy until I realized that could be done.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I did comedy.
How many minutes of comedy did you have before you started singing?
Before I sang, I probably had a half hour.
No shit.
I mean, like, total. Like, not stuff I did every set.
Yeah.
But, like, of all my material, maybe totally a half hour.
Yeah.
And not all of it was
just
great.
Like, you had a solid what?
A solid half hour, 45 minutes. And then punk covers, because it's a performance, it adds time. And that's when I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, I do kind of want to learn guitar. And to this point in my life, I've still just kind of learned guitar. Like, I play without a pick. I play with just my thumb. And I don't play very well. Like, but I can sing over it. And that's so you play to your strengths, right? So, like, nobody gives a shit if I'm playing the C chord perfectly. They care about the couplet. And that's what feels like cheating when you have a guitar.
Yeah, no, so that's the one thing. All right. I got one more beer, Paul. Yes? Last one.
All right.
Yes.
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 I'm taking a piece of pizza, though.
That's one's bitten out of. I'll take that one, but yeah.
I'll take the non.
Take the one that's not
the
bit.
non-bit piece.
Yeah. So, what the fuck was I just gonna say?
If you could sing.
I was just mentioning
No.
that I play guitar terribly.
Oh,
But
right, yeah, 100%. No, and that's the thing is like, dude, I mean, charm over form every fucking time. Like, if I mean, that's like, and especially in comedy, man. Especially like think about like the classic, like from fucking Chris Farley to fucking anyone bubbly like that. And I think your voice is so on par, so fucking succinct, so A+, that the guitar playing is, it's not that it's at a different level. It's not really conducive to what you're doing anyways.
Yeah, I could play
It is-
guitar 10 times
could be
better,
playing a fucking
and it
snare
wouldn't
drum.
make the song funnier. There's no incentive for me to get better at guitar, which is the ironic part. I can
Well,
play.
it's not noticeable. I mean, you literally got to I mean, it. That's the thing. Is like I've seen Paul get standing ovations from crowds that are not his fucking crowds, from songs, and it wasn't the fucking. They weren't standing. It wasn't a standing ovation because like the guitar playing was sweet. It was because the act was fucking amazing, and I would say that your guitar playing lends almost in contrast to how good your voice is.
It's weird.
And that's
yeah.
the thing. Like, if you were a really good guitar player and you had a great voice, people are like, oh, yeah, this guy's very fucking talented. But there's almost this and not to say that you play your songs, but your voice is so elevated in the realm of talent. And your guitar playing is good enough for fucking anyone playing guitar.
It's good for a college party, and that's about
Yeah,
it. And
but
that's
the
all
thing.
you needed to get
It's
you
the
to
college playing party shit,
Yeah.
but your voice is a whole different level where people are like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then the lyrics are so good. Like, dude, you have a built-in applause break in your act, and not in a cheap way. In a, watch me fucking show you my dick, and you know you have an 11-inch dick. You know what I mean? Like, you already know how big the dick is.
Listen,
you
I'll be
know?
honest with you. Like, after I've done the punk covers, and that's just singing. When I do punk covers, that's just singing with no guitar, except for the last one. I will break out a guitar. But after I've done that, if they've reacted to the voice,
Yeah.
I could have a completely out of tune ukulele made of cardboard, and it wouldn't matter very much.
Well, that's the thing. Is like you have an impressive. You have the voice of, and the range especially is like that. If you watch reality TV shows about people singing, that crazy and all the ups and downs, all the shit, you can fucking do that. But then you're making them laugh on top of that, and that's the double. It's not like, oh, these are great lyrics. It's, oh my god, I'm gonna piss myself. Plus, this
I
is-
don't have any desire to make someone cry by singing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to ever fucking Josh Groban a motherfucker into the ground. I'm not going to make a mother and
But I
their
mean, you can make
daughter
them cry laughing.
happy at a concert because I sang the Christmas song well. I will absolutely like use it. I will go full out on what I can do vocally on a given night to make it funnier. The fact that you put that much extra effort into the singing of something that was just a dumb poetry couplet. Like Lewiston Lady is by far the funniest, not funniest, but the most reactive song. Just talking about ladies from Lewiston.
Dude, there's 3 songs that you have that when you are on stage, and this is one of the, like, I'll never hear this about like stand-up comedians. Very few times I've been, backstage and someone has been telling a joke on stage and another comedian's like, yo, dude, I get this joke stuck in my head all the time. You have songs that I will be with comedians backstage and they're like, dude, I have been thinking about this song for a year and a half. Like, I can't get it
weird.
out of my fucking head. And it's Lewiston Lady, it's I'm Not Your Daddy, and what's the other big song you got?
Trim Those Hedges.
What's another song? Do you have another song? I feel like there's
I think Trim Those Hedges is
Trim
the
Those
other
Hedges?
guitar song. Yeah.
there's no other songs?
Except for I Will Always Love You, the punk cover, which is on guitar.
That's the thing. You have these songs that maybe it is trim the hedges. I thought there was like another.
I
fucking
remember
song.
Lewiston
It's
Lady
the one
all
that's
the
like,
time.
I'm just your average guy.
No, I know that. I know that. I thought there was like another. I think you had another one. I'm fucking drunk. It is what it is.
Here's the thing. I've definitely had more songs. I had a song called Hot Dogs Down a Hallway about
Nice.
being told your dick is small, but turning out it's just the vagina's too big.
Yeah.
But it's
It's all perspective.
Yeah, it's like, and so like I had a song about that, but like it was very juvenile. Like I've had definitely a bunch of juvenile songs that I stopped playing because they were, not that any of them aren't juvenile, but they were like just dumb more than they were clever.
Yeah.
Where like Lewiston Lady is, we're gonna hear that in the podcast.
Maybe, yeah. My kid.
Someone does not want to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my kid is desperate not to go to bed. Although, what time? What?
It's like 9.
Oh yeah, it's not. Well, yeah, it's definitely bedtime for him for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, because it's like we've been doing this for a while. So to get into the last part of it. Oh, dude, this was Josh's idea. Favorite back road or back road story.
Ooh.
Now, when I go to shows in Lewiston right now, from my house in Raymond, I gotta travel
Through Casco.
Yeah, well, there's a dirt fucking road. Is that in Casco?
Dirt road?
Well, I definitely go through Casco, but there's a crazy dirt road close to Lewiston that's dope as fuck. Every time, if I've got cigarettes, I will drive slower, put my window down, and smoke cigarettes on this dirt road, and it's sketchy as fuck. I love it.
I don't know.
I love a good dirt road in the middle of fucking nowhere.
So in my hometown, we had a sick dirt road. It's
Where's your hometown?
Kennybunk. So I grew up in
So
Kennybunk.
the dirt road was at a gravel pit.
Yeah, no, no. So it was actually pretty cool. So in Kennybunk, there's the Blueberry Plains, which is this huge, like, massive, like, just open blueberry fields that you can go and like pick blueberries and shit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's actually pretty. They burn it once a year, so it's always like full and just so many blueberries. So there's the main road that goes right through the middle of it. You can go 50. On the other side of it, it's this dirt road that you go like 25. And there's this little parking area where you can go on the walking trails.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy are smoking weed there. We're both 19. This is, 7 years at this point. And so we're sitting there in this spot. It's night. We're just smoking, windows down. We're just, enjoying the night. And all of a sudden, we just see this light above the trees. And I'm not like a UFO guy, but this
is this a UFO? Oh, dude, I'm so fucking pumped. I thought you were going to tell me some boring ass fucking jerked off my friend story.
I was waiting to move on. We should move on to the next story.
Oh my
now.
god, I'm so excited, dude. Your intro to the story sucked.
Definitely keep going.
Keep going.
I know,
I'm so excited now.
It's all part of the technique. But yeah, no. So we're sitting in this spot, and right at the tree line, which I would say quarter mile, we see this light above the trees, and it's moving around. And this is before drones. This was 2014, almost 15.
Is that before drones?
It's not, but
That's
yeah,
what the
but I'll
no,
take it.
But before drones were like super popular, like
back in the day in 2015.
Your mic's not coming through.
Really?
No, it is.
Now it is.
Yeah,
now. Oh, for whatever reason, it's just the headphones cut out then.
All right.
Oh, weird.
So you see this light.
So we see this light at the tree line, but like with a drone, you would hear the.
Sure, absolutely.
At nighttime, it's quiet, so it's nothing. We don't hear anything. Then it just starts moving to the left, to the right. What it looks like traveling like 10, 15, 20 feet or so, and we're just like watching this, and we're like, "No way! This can't be what it." And then it just shoots up straight into the sky and just disappears. And it's this dirt road that it's a little cut through this blueberry field, and it was just a crazy experience. And that's why I'm like, yeah, UFOs are real, for sure.
I've seen some UFOs.
It's like for certain.
I don't know that I've ever seen a UFO, but my dad has a story about camping in the Allagash, where they were in the Allagash and something that went low enough to light up the treetops with like an orange light silently went over and just kept going. Like it was low enough that they didn't hear it, should have heard it, even if it was a plane or a jet, lit up the treetops. The light was that bright and kept going. And he will also admit we were drinking that night.
Yeah.
It was a camping night, but we all didn't hallucinate an orange light in the Allagash like at the same time. Like that's.
Yeah, that'd be so random to see like just an orange light at the top of the tree, middle of nowhere, like that. That would be insane. But I mean, that's I.
Well, you know what's funny is everyone like discounts people with UFOs. Because every good UFO story starts with me and my buddies were drinking in the woods, and they're like, oh yeah, because you were drinking in the woods.
Because otherwise there'd be a roof,
well, no,
and you wouldn't have
that's
seen
the thing.
shit.
But if you were like, what story starts with me and my buddies were sober at midnight in the woods? Like, and
right.
who were you fucking?
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? Like, what are
Yeah,
you talking about? Like,
Yeah, what body did
What
you
were you
bury?
weirdos
Yeah.
doing in the woods at night?
you're only
Yeah.
going to be in weird spots and weird parts at the night because of alcohol.
Yeah.
No one's praying to Jesus at 1 o'clock in the morning on a river road.
On a hilltop.
You know? Yeah. You're fucking drinking and driving, dude.
So that's a really cool story. And then it's disappeared. and
Yeah,
was
it just
gone.
disappeared right up into the sky, and we were like, "What the heck did we just see?" And then we tell this story from time to time, but it was like, just it's, I mean, and we
Have you seen
confirm each
UFOs
other.
outside of that? Is that your only time?
That is my only time that I can definitively point out in my head.
What about ghosts? Have you ever seen a ghost?
There is one thing that happened when I was a kid. So I was at my house, the house I grew up in Kennebunk, and
Was it so normal house, never haunted, no
never
crazy shit?
haunted. No, never haunted. But I had this experience where I woke up, and it was so weird. There was someone like in the bedroom, but like. Just see through. I could see through them, but I couldn't move. I don't know if it was like a lucid dream. There was no other haunted stuff that was in my
Did you
house.
see their face or their body type?
It was
or-
like face, but very plain, pale. I think I might have honestly watched X-Files because he looks like the main guy from it. Fucking Dave
Smoking Man.
Duchovny.
Oh, Dave Duchovny.
Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
Yes. When I got my wisdom teeth out. I was at work, and they gave me oxys for the pain, for the wisdom teeth, and
I like how you're winking at me when you say that shit.
and
You're like, yeah, and I listened to Snoop Dogg and fucking jerked myself out to sleep.
so I was. It was a slow night at the call center, so I'm like laying down in the chair.
What? Dude, that was literally two of the most white trash sentences I've ever fucking heard
Anyway,
in my fucking
bud,
life.
Slow night at the call
Yeah,
center.
I got some
I'm on
Oxycontin.
oxys.
It's fucking
Slinging dick pills over the phone.
fucking crazy, dude.
So I'm just laying back in the chair, and I'm like, my mouth is still swollen because I'm like still 2 days out of the surgery, but I got bills to pay, so I'm at the call center,
Rockstar.
and I'm laying down in the chair. I like doze off, and I get to the point where like my eyes are open, but I can't move my body because like I'm just like I'm just in sleep paralysis. It was insane. But yeah, no, definitely a fun experience. I haven't been able to do that again because I don't do pills anymore.
Well, dude, I can literally give myself sleep paralysis if I just nap.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I for a long time, it hasn't happened in a while, but I would wake up in the night and see people in my room.
Was that at the specific haunted house you lived at, though?
No. It's like a I don't know what to say. It's like a quasi awake state where I sit straight up. It's like an immediate like half awake sitting straight up, and I'm looking around the room. And here's the thing:
And it's at any house you're at?
it's happened at almost every place I've lived at, except for where I am now. But where
It's never happened to the place
no,
you're at.
not at all. So it started happening when I was like 15. I would wake up in the night.
Can I just say that I love where this podcast is going, by the way? I'm fucking pumped, man.
Yeah. So this is 100% true. It's called a hypnagogic state. It's like sleep paralysis. It falls under the umbrella of sleep paralysis.
All right.
But I'm not, in my case, I am not paralyzed. I'm awake-ish. Like I'm sitting up, and in the exact reality of my room, the lighting of the room, however dark it is, however light it is, not any extra effects, I can see people, literal, like full-fledged, not translucent people, not ghosts, but people in my room, just in my room. So like when I was 15, I would wake up, I would be in my bedroom, which was in the finished basement.
What are they wearing?
Exactly right? I would sit up and they'd be wearing all sorts of like bland, like non-period specific clothing. And I'd sit there and there'd be like 11 people in my room. like different ages, different sexes.
Doing what? Were they looking at you?
And they're not people I know. They're not. Never have I seen somebody that I've seen in real life. Never do I see an Ian, or do I see my brother, or do I see a relative. It is brand new people.
Every face is
Every
distinct.
fucking person is goddamn brand new, and they're just sitting there looking at me like, and when I wake up, I'm not
Or
scared.
no, that's what I'm saying. So they're all looking at you though, like
They're
hey,
looking at me,
look
waiting on me. And when I sit up, and when I'm telling this seems like a scary ass thing to wake up to. But in that moment, I am absolutely not scared.
Yeah.
In that moment, I sit up and I feel like a bad host. That is the best way I can describe it. We're like, shit, I forgot all 11 of you were coming over tonight in the middle of the night in my bedroom. But like, it's you're that out of it, right? Like you're that like different. But they're standing and they're looking at me and they never speak. They never say a word, but they're looking at me. They can see me. I can see them. And then as I start to breathe in deeper and as I wake up, all of a sudden they're fucking gone. And it's not like
you sitting up while this is happening?
I sit up and wake up to them being there.
Wait. All right.
Let me explain this. Let's imagine you're sleeping.
Yes.
And you wake up in your room.
Wake up in your sleep.
You can sit right up 90
so
degrees.
this is happening while you're waking up.
While what I would call awake, but not fully awake. Like it's this weird quasi zone between like, yes, my body's physically sitting up.
So you're waking up from sleep and you're seeing
my eyes are
house.
open. I'm looking at the room as it is right now in the dark. And if there's light coming in from the window, that takes effect. That I literally see those shadows on the people. Like it's not like they're lit up. I'm seeing them in the lighting conditions of however I went to sleep.
Have you ever thought about getting into being a psychic?
No, but let me just tell the rest of the story. So I'll wake up and they'll just be there. So in 15, 16, 17, 18, before I got out of the house, they were there. They were fucking there. Almost
Was it always
night.
different people? Did you ever see the same person?
Always different people. Always people I've never seen ever. Every single time. So I thought for forever these are weird nightmares that are covering over into my real life, or like something was wrong. I heard a podcast about it years later where someone described the exact same thing, and I literally goosebumps where I was like, oh shit, this is not just me, because you can't prove it, and you can't tell someone this is fucking real. It sounds like I have a really good story.
Wait, so what do you think it is then? Do you think it's like spirits or a different realm?
When I've heard or read about it, the word shadow people comes up, where you hear people talking about dark shadows or like dark people. For me, they're not shadows. They are full, like just like you're sitting there now.
Yeah.
Imagine we shut off the lights like I was going to bed, but I could still look at you and what light was left.
Yeah.
That's how you'd show up. Not like a ghost, not scary, not disfigured, not dead or bleeding, just like a person in my room. And I would wake up like, fuck, sorry guys.
So that's the thing. Do you think you're witnessing people from a different realm? Do you think they're witnessing angels or demons, or where do you think it's all coming from?
Many religious beliefs, but you could explain it away with my brain just populating people in like a dream state. Have you ever had a dream where you see people you've never seen? You know?
I don't. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure you have. Like I've definitely dreamt people like I've never met, like just weird people.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone you walked by on
Like it's
the
possible.
street or
Like there's a
something,
part of my brain that can make that, right?
A
Like it can
background actor on a TV
yeah,
show.
background actor. However, there are different experiences of the same thing. So like as I progressed, when I moved to New York for college, it never happened. This is a whole other podcast, but I saw September 11th happen with my own eyes. Second day of college, I walked to the trade centers.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
It's a long story, and we'll go over it maybe some other time. But like, I woke up late at night, thinking we were being nuked. I had PTSD from it. Nothing like this experience with the people in my room. Didn't have people in my room for like 3 or 4 years. Moved to Queens, and people in my room all of a sudden. The same exact thing where I woke up in Queens in my bedroom, and they were just people I've never met.
So, do you think it depends on the house you're in?
No, I think it's a state of mind, and I think it's like these are all experiences like prior to ever doing cannabis, by the way. Like, just so you know, like these are all
Well, the only reason I asked is
untainted.
like I've known Paul for a very long time, to the point where we have shot an edited video in a house that he was staying at, where we both listened to ghosts walk around above us and drag shit around, and
Yeah. Let me get to that in just a second. So that was Westbrook. I lived at a place in Westbrook on Main
So you don't
Street.
think it's ghosts? That's what I'm saying.
So I
not
don't
being haunted?
I don't know that it's ghosts because they don't appear any other time, right? It's only when sleeping, and like. So
Also, by the way, talking about your fucking Westbrook house just gave me weird goosebumps.
yeah, so let me fast forward because it happened a couple times, different places, lots of things happened.
I don't know why that's happening. That's fucked
Yeah.
up.
So in Westbrook was the weirdest thing because in Westbrook, 3 times I woke up and saw people. Twice on the same night. And this is the only time it's happened where I woke up and saw the same people twice in a row.
Oh no shit.
In Westbrook, I was growing weed at the foot of my bed, in a little phone booth sized little zip up tent that you can get on Amazon for $75, right? And I would keep it crack open because it would overheat, and I was not doing it right. And so the room was lit up. I sat up 90 degrees, like legs out, body facing straight up, and saw a younger boy and a younger girl. I'm gonna say between 8 and 10 each, sitting at the end of my bed. And I didn't wake up like, oh shit, a creepy young boy and girl. I woke up and was like, oh my God, you guys can't be in here. I got to get you out of this room because I have a son. Like, I treated them like I would like a kid that shouldn't be there. I'm like, oh my God, we got to get you out of this room. And I walked them out of my room, which had a weird slanted roof, if you remember it. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like it was a creepy upstairs like room. I would walk them to the end of the room. And as I was opening the door, like, my blood flow was circulating and I was waking up. It's when I wake up that all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. It's when like you're fully oxygenating your blood almost. Like I woke up, I was like, oh shit, this is fake. And then that was the first time I ever woke up and was like scared. And I was like, oh fuck. Why did I walk out of my bed 10 feet to the door? I shut my door. I took my dresser and moved it across my bedroom to block off the doorway because I didn't want anything else to come in. I was so freaked out. Went back to sleep, reset completely, woke up. Oh, what are you? This little boy and this little girl. And in that wake up, this was the first time I was like, you guys have already been here. God damn it. I got to get you guys out of here. And as I went to walk out of my room,
You got up again.
I got up again.
You physically got out of your bed.
Stood up, like coaxing them out of my room. And to the left and the right, it was like I was on a long plank of wood. And to the left and the right were masses of dark people, like groups of dark hordes, like crowds is what I would say. Crowds of like dark shadows of people, like down below me who could look up to the plank I was on in my room, walking to my door. And I was looking to the left and looking to the right. And knowing that didn't belong there woke me up. And I was like, what? I woke up and like, you guys aren't even real. And turned around and they were gone. And then I saw my dresser was in front of me. I had already moved it, remembered it, went back to bed. It didn't happen again. I woke up and my dresser was in the middle of the room. I remembered doing it. But that was the most intense and scary version ever.
It's crazy.
But to speak to the sounds that you heard, Ian, to put this on recording.
Yeah.
Constantly when I was downstairs, my room was upstairs, I would hear what sounded like, I shit you not, a 250-pound, I'm going to say man, or at least a person, most men are
In boots,
going boom, 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 like walking, not
Yeah, I heard it.
not boards popping.
we would be in your living room editing video and be like, you hear
it
that?
sounded like a friend of mine was playing a prank in my apartment above us, going boom, 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 walk from my room specifically out to like the open area between my room and my roommate's room.
And it couldn't have been the heating pipes creaking.
There are no heating pipes upstairs.
Dude, it was a weird.
My room was in the attic, so I had a space here for heat my landlord gave me because there are no heating pipes. It's an old building, but the heating stops on the floor below.
Really? So there's no radio.
I had people
that goes
say,
up
well,
there.
Paul, maybe that's old pieces of wood adjusting to heat and going in like in the sequence. But if you had heard it, it was boots on the ground in like sequence, like thump, 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 thump,
Yeah,
like
no, it had a
running
It had
away.
a very organic sound to it. I heard it so many fucking times.
That's
we're
insane.
like, I remember Ian looking at me like I was kidding, like I was pranking him. And I'm like, I'm happy you heard it, dude, because not everyone believes it. And that's what the sound sounds like. Yeah.
That is insane. Is the house still
It's still an apartment. There's
Are
someone
we,
else there now. I only know that because I had to get a package from from eBay that had my old address on it.
Did you ask them? Did you be like, "Yo, do you hear the boots?"
Yeah, I've never spoke with them, but I bet they hear it, dude. It's not specifically because of me, as far as I know. It just happened.
You didn't
My
do a
roommate would
Ouija
hear it when
board
she was
somewhere?
alone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what was weird about it is like I'd be upstairs in my room and never hear it. Never once hear it. In my room where the shit's happening, where if there were boards creaking in sequence, I would have heard it upstairs, never a fucking once.
Yeah, one way or
downstairs, it was like someone was running out of my room to the platform above the stairs and stopping. Like it was like someone as big as Ian or bigger. Like no, I mean like
Yeah, fat guy,
Like-
big fat.
I mean
guy.
a real big fatty running out of my room.
And we're back to the All Stoved Up podcast. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, and we're here now. My oldest dog, my 11-year-old bird hunting dog,
My good buddy.
is
Cash.
hanging out next to Cash. I mean, next to James. Cash,
Next
Cash,
to
a dog.
Cash, my good buddy, my good friend.
Cash, what a good doggy.
I love that feeling whenever I come here that Cash gets excited to see me because I know Cash's personality that he doesn't get excited to see everyone. So
He's got bonds. He's kind of a dog slut. I'm not gonna lie. He's kind of. I mean, but he either likes you or he doesn't like you. But like, if he's met you one time and he likes you, when you come in the house, he's gonna go ape shit.
I think I'm just trying to get to point across that Cash and me are buddies.
Cashy buddies. Cashy good dog.
He's a good boy.
Oh, what a good doggy. All right, what the fuck we were talking about?
Next questions? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we're talking about
The rack. The rack was awesome.
Yeah, the rack's good. All right, so let's get into it. Maine apparently has some of the highest UFO sightings.
Yeah.
Have you seen any UFOs?
I've seen some questionable things. Yeah, I mean, like when they say UFOs, like it's just like unidentified flying object. Like, yeah, I don't know what they were, but definitely that one time we did the show. I think it was in Madawaska, or it might have been in Van Buren. But when we were driving back through Mars Hill, we saw some weird, crazy white flashing light go across the sky, and then all the street lights went out.
Well, the thing, I feel like out of all, because I've seen a bunch of weird shit, that one didn't really freak me out. I think the like a transformer blew or some shit like that.
No, it was not a transformer. I mean, that I know.
It was weird. We we rolled into, it wasn't Mars Hill. It was a smaller town that you go down that route, and we rolled into, as soon as we got into town, every single light in the entire village shut right the fuck off.
And then a cemetery lit up.
Yeah, there was like blinking lights and shit in the cemetery.
Yeah, I don't know. And then over the Boston airport, that one time we had a show in Boston. And
Yeah, that was weird. That was like, it wasn't over the Boston airport. It was lights over we were going over the bridge
We were
to
coming
get
down
into
Route
Boston.
1. Yeah, we were Route 1.
And over the water was like 6 like floating orbs.
That just appeared
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It was just very bizarre. Those are some things. And then one time I was my girlfriend lives in Yarmouth. I was at her house. I was taking something in from the driveway, and a red dot like appeared right in the sky, and then it moved a little bit and disappeared. And that was the only other thing. I didn't know how to explain that. And then there was an article the next day that she sent me. She found it that other people saw that.
Yeah. I've seen when I was in OOB one time, I saw something hovering, like a red ball hovering above the pier, like hundreds of feet up, and then it shot the fuck up. Like it looked like it was like hovering there, like a big glowing ball, and then just like out of nowhere just went whoop. And just like you could watch it go whoop, it went way it was crazy. It was
Now,
out of fucking.
Here's my question for you: do you think that is like otherworldly phenomenon, something else that's not from here? Or do you think it's our government that has like crazy shit that we're not going to know about for like 20, 30 years down the road?
Yeah, so I definitely believe in the idea that the government has a multitude of technologies that we won't see for numbers of years.
Absolutely.
Way ahead of us. And I mean, the other thing too is like there's that rumor that there's a base in Madawaska that there is like 17 floors down, and like you can like fly shit out of cliffs in this like crazy underground,
Yeah, where
government bunker shit.
where the Air Force base was.
No, so that's limestone. I'm talking about Madawaska.
Right.
And when
I
I
thought it was
last
past Madawaska.
when we were up there visiting Big Rick's,
Yeah,
Big
I
Rick
remember
told me
the
one
person.
time.
I remember him explaining.
He's like,
it to
"Oh
us.
yeah, everyone's seen UFOs up here."
Right.
And he talked about like there's like a military base where like it's like it's down and it flies. It's
Yeah, and
just
I
crazy
remember,
shit.
I was with you. This is how I remember it. I thought that it was shut. It was an Air Force base that was shut down, and when we said it was shut down, he's like, "It's not shut down. They are still very active."
That was the night. That was the same day that we did the show in Caribou the night before, and we got kicked out of the fucking cabin in the morning because we were smoking pot.
Oh yeah, that guy was pissed.
He was fucking angry.
He was
as shit.
so mad. He was so mad.
Are you boys smoking pot in my cabin?
You guys smoking pot in here? Like yeah, it's legal to smoke pot. It's fine. Not in the cabin. It's not. And I was like, actually, it is. It's very legal to smoke.
Well, hey,
in the
we've
cabin.
been smoking all night long, so
That's all we did was smoke. We got that town shut down at like. Our show was the whole town was there.
yeah.
And then when we left that bar, that was it.
No, we went to Timmy Hose.
Oh
Remember,
my
we
God,
got driven. We had a fucking.
We had a driver.
We had a driver. We had a DD. He was like, you boys got to go to Timmy Hose.
Dude,
I got a sandwich at Timmy Hose. Thank God I got a sandwich at Timmy Hose.
I hope he's not listening, but do you remember that guy was like in the same clothes waiting for us to like wake up the next morning to take us to breakfast, and you didn't come to breakfast? You stayed in. I went with the other two comics.
Right. Yeah, I didn't go.
Dennis. And yeah, so it was like that guy was like there.
He was
Waiting for us.
He was down.
Like, yeah, hey, your ride's here. I've been waiting. I'm ready to take you to the
I
best.
like. I mean, to be fair, like I like that semi rock star treatment. It's happened a couple times before,
Yeah.
where it's just like
nice.
someone's like, "Yeah, I'm here to help you out."
Oh yeah, and then it was sure enough too. You missed that. We went to the breakfast place where everybody who was at the show the night before also goes to breakfast there.
Nice.
So it was a big scene that when we walked in.
Dude, I remember going into a pizza parlor an hour away from Caribou, and half the pizza parlor was like, "Great show last night, boys."
Yeah.
Like, God damn, there's nothing to do up here.
No. I mean, dude, if you've never driven in Aroostook County, that's why the UFO things are so crazy, because they have to be in Aroostook County, because
Dude, I heard there's certain roads that if you go to that road between certain times, you are guaranteed to see UFOs.
something. Yeah.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I mean, someone, and I've heard it from multiple people, like there are certain roads up there that you go to a certain road, a certain time, and bam, on the dot, there's some shit.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's funny too, because you can call that in and you can report it, and the government will just, or whoever you report it to, they'll just be like, yeah, okay, well, good, thank you. That's it.
So here's the thing. So
You're
I'm
never going to
I'm
get any explanation.
going to get into my stories. So I have seen multiple UFOs, and I've seen a cryptid too. UFO stories. The first UFO, I guess it wasn't really UFO, but when I was in college, I went to college in New Hampshire, and like Southern New Hampshire, and right on the border of Brattleboro, Vermont. And I remember looking over the hills of Brattleboro, Vermont, and it looked like two giant circles of fire just hanging in the middle of the fucking air.
Jesus.
Like giant circular like things on fire in the middle of the air, not moving. And me and the person I was with at the time, we watched this thing for a half an hour. For a half an hour, nothing fucking moved, nothing changed. These giant, it almost looked like portals on fire in the middle of the fucking sky. So that was my, and the person I was with got freaked the fuck out. I was digging it because I wanted to see a UFO my entire life. I was like, holy shit, like what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
That's never left me. And actually, with that said, as I've seen something online that looked exactly like it. Like I looked up like Ring of Fire in the Sky, And there was a video that was exactly what I saw. So I'm not the only person that's seen this shit.
Yeah, that's the thing about UFOs is that if you see something, and you really did see something, chances are like a shit ton of other people have seen it, and they're gonna be like talking about it because that's a, not something people just like walk by and it's a normal thing to see.
Then I saw that red orb in OB, and then I've seen. So I did a trip with it up in Madawaska, another comedy trip in Madawaska. And anytime I go to Madawaska, there are certain towns you go through, you just get a fucking vibe. Yeah. It's fucking, it's funny. It's like, it's a 6-hour trip there, 6-hour trip back. We do it in a single fucking night every single time.
Yep.
And every time it does not fail. There's always like certain towns you're like, oh yeah, I'm super glad to be here. And then some, not that you're, you don't want to be there. It's just like there's a weird vibe going on.
Right.
And so one time we were coming back, me, Ryan Waning, I can't remember the comedians we're with, but they're in the back, and me and Ryan's up front with me. And we were seeing this thing. It looked like a fucking disco ball. We're driving down from Madawaska to Holton, and it looks like a fucking big old disco ball in like the middle of, we're like, I guess to the right of the windshield. I'd say like, like a mile away from us up in the sky, just like hanging up there like a fucking it looked like a disco ball. And we're driving, and Ryan goes, holy shit. As he goes, holy shit, you just watch this thing fall, like almost like it was cut from a string, fall onto the earth, but you can't see where it lands on the earth. And it was the craziest. I've never seen anything like that. Like it looked like it was just like hanging out in the sky. It was like, maybe that's like the craziest star you've ever seen, or maybe that's like a fucking planet.
Yeah.
And then just like it got cut, and it's like it just like fucking fell like a bowling ball from like a third story.
And I do a lot of UFO research. It's something I love, like researching on like YouTube and stuff. And that's like a lot. That's very typical of what you see. Is they go from like 0 to 1,000,000 in like 0.5 seconds, and they're just like, or they'll go into the ocean and disappear. It's just like crazy. Like it's just it's insane the technology that, if not that we have, that someone on another planet has.
Yeah, and also in Madawaska, me and a car full of comics saw a Wendigo. A Wendigo.
I don't know. Wendigo. Yeah.
I don't know. So it's basically kind of like a fucked up Bigfoot. Basically, what we saw.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me.
What happened is, we went up to Big Rick's. We partied. One of the comics that was with us, like partying hard, and he was like he was on bad coke and good MDMA, right? Like he had the mixture.
Yeah.
And he's like all fucked up. And we're driving again from Madawaska to Holton in the middle of fucking nowhere. And he's like, "Yo, man, you okay? You okay?" Like he like wakes up, he jostles up. I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm fucking fine. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh no, I don't know. I just got a weird feeling." Blah, blah. I was like, "Oh, all right, whatever." Maybe 10 minutes goes by, and we're driving down this road, middle of nowhere, pitch fucking black. There are not houses for miles and miles and miles. And we see this thing in the middle of the road. All four of us see it. This thing looks like, I want to say it's like 2 or 3 times the size of a black bear, or like a a big. It looks like a giant bear, like a cartoon version of a bear, but it's really skinny, and it's walking on all fours the way that like the woman from The Grudge walks. Like it's this weird stilted walk.
Yep.
And the thing is with the face is there's no eyes in the face. And it was also not scared at all of the car. Like it was just like coming towards the fucking car. Like it had like no animal instinct. It was just like coming at us. And when we went by it, you could just tell it was not a fucking, I don't know, it was not an animal. Everyone in the car had the exact same creepy feeling. Like that it just washed over the car where everyone's like, "Oh, we were not supposed to see that shit." It's one of those things too that, man, that happened like 6 or 7 years ago. Anytime I get together with those guys, me, Apples, Pat, and Ryan Waning, I believe. Anytime we get together, we talk. That's the first thing we talk about. Is like, holy shit! Like you remember that? Remember that thing we saw in the fucking woods?
Yeah.
Like it was fucking nuts. It was like, I don't. The way it walked was fucked up, and again, like the face was fucked up, and it was just like this big, giant, black, furry mass. And when I I started talking to people about it. Like, I think I saw maybe like a Bigfoot or some shit like that. I started talking about what I saw, and a lot of people brought up like, oh, that sounds like it's a Wendigo. And so I looked it up online. And I showed it to all the other guys, and like that's exactly what the fuck we saw.
Wow. Imagine if you hit it.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. I mean, or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be from like a different reality if you've interacted with it, and you're now in that reality of nightmare creatures or
Like the Upside Down in
Stranger
Things. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, UFOs, we did it.
What do we have for time?
We're at 44 minutes, but like 10 of that's with.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. Weirdest. What's the craziest show after party? What's the craziest show we've ever done? And then what's the craziest after party?
Craziest show we've ever done. Jeez, I don't know. There's so many. Craziest after party was my album recording night, I think, at Blythe and Burroughs. That whole place was like, people went from the venue to Blythe, and it was just, that was the craziest, like, sold out album show, and then to after party at like one of the coolest bars at the time, still at Blythe and Burroughs. It was just really cool. That was an unbelievable night for me. But like the crazy show,
I feel like the after party was not that good. You just want to talk about your album recording.
No, dude, there will be people that will have been, were at that after party.
It's like, what's the greatest after party? Oh, that time I ran for mayor? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, no, that was a really crazy after party. But I mean, craziest show, like really crazy show.
We've had some pretty crazy Madawaska shows.
Madawaska.
We bring up Madawaska a lot, but it's because it's a crazy place.
Yeah, we had some good shows in like Port City. Like Francis Ellis show was really good in Port City. There's been a bunch of Sugarloaf shows that have been really awesome. The one at the Widowmaker, though, the first year of me, you, and Pat, that was like one of the dopest shows and dopest after parties.
Crazy after party. One of the craziest after parties. I think I almost died at that after party.
Yeah, didn't you like stop breathing in the middle?
Yeah, so that was what I was told. And I stopped breathing in the middle of the night.
It wasn't even middle of the night. It was like the early morning. It was like 6 a.m.
Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've as a stand-up comedian, I've toured fucking everywhere. I've done everywhere, and I've done a bunch of crazy ass shit. I'm just trying to think of stuff like with Welcome to Maine and what me and James have done together, stand-up wise. It's James met me. I've been a road comic for fucking ever, but James met me when I was like kind of just getting into like the theater circuit, the Maine Comedy All Stars, and
2017.
Yeah. So things had kind of calmed down when I met you.
2016 actually was when I met you.
Yeah. Because I've done a ton of comedy tours down in like Texas and Canada that were just like fucking insane. Insane in just like the amount of drugs and booze I consumed.
Yeah.
And the stories.
That's the other thing too about the comedy scene is that it's not really a rock star like thing where like after your shows there's always a ripping after party. Most time after our shows, even at like a theater, we'll like that perfect example, the show we did in Freeport at some theater there. There were roller skates backstage. Remember that night?
Oh jeez. Yeah.
I put on roller skates that I found. That after that show, we got off stage and we went out the back door and just left. We didn't talk to anyone, and that's like a lot of the time you hit the road. Once you're done, you're out. You just go.
Dude, anytime I've opened up for like a big comic at like the State Theater or like Port City, if they dig it, it's never an after party. There's been a few comics where it's been let's go drinking, but for the most part it's like let's go get dinner. It's usually just like go get dinner.
Yep.
And call it night.
We've hit Dice Arts a few times, Applebee's a million times.
Yeah,
so many
Applebee's.
places. We've gone to so many places. Just like that's the life.
Yeah, I would say the craziest show we've done. I don't know. Did you do the first year? No, maybe not. I'm trying to think. Oh, I mean, actually, one of my favorite nights was when we did the first live Welcome to Maine.
Oh yeah,
and meeting everyone.
Vanguard, me too.
Yeah, after
Me
the
too.
show, that was cool.
That was probably one of the coolest nights in my career, actually, just because of how accepted we were. Like, well,
yeah, it was definitely it was a different vibe.
It was definitely like people were there to see the Welcome to Maine show.
Yeah. Well, before I think before Welcome to Maine, we're so accustomed to people going to see comedy night.
Right.
I mean, some people are there specifically to see us, but in general, if it's a packed house, it's most of the people there for a comedy show, regardless of who's performing.
Exactly.
They'll come back depending on who does a good. You know what I mean? That with that said, though, it's like you can retain a comedy audience in an area if you do well, and you can push them right away if you do fucking terrible too. But, especially with like the Welcome to Maine live show, people were just fucking pumped.
Oh my god, yeah, it was really cool, and we're definitely gonna get back into doing a lot of live stuff. Welcome to Maine, because that's, I don't know, once we have a good solid like show that we can like roll out, because that's kind of the other thing too, is that the show was a trial run, the live show, and it turned out all right.
Yeah. First one was good. Second one was shit.
Yeah, second one was not very good.
Second one was sucked. Not for the people that showed up. Thank you very much. It just was not. It was not well executed.
Yeah.
This is the final question that I've got for us, is what's the best drinking spot in Maine that's not a bar?
Best drinking spot in Maine that's not a bar. Holy shit.
I would say driving my truck around the back roads of Raymond, but I don't want to incriminate myself, so I won't say that.
Yeah. Any hockey arena in the state. any arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go see a hockey game. Go to the Cumberland County Civic Center, or was it Cross Insurance Arena, and go see a Mariners game, and just sit there and smash 10 Bud Lights. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about sports. I guess I would be down to like go watch like a Destruction Derby. Rest in peace, fucking Beach Ridge, but get hammered and watch fucking
You can watch
cars smash each other.
You can watch Monster Truck Rally in the springtime. They come to the Cross Insurance Arena.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's a good, like? I really like. Anytime I go camping, I really like drinking and camping around, like drinking around a fire at a camp. That's
Any
the time.
boat ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Any
Yeah.
lake, any boat ever.
Yeah,
Shout out
boats.
to-
Yeah,
Drinking on a boat is by far like the best place to drink in Maine. It's better than any bar in my mind.
drinking near water in general, like drinking on a dock, drinking while you're fishing,
Yeah.
drinking and being near, drinking if you're near a pool. That's a good time.
Yeah. For
Like
sure.
drinking in a pool float, drinking, floating down a river, like fucking tubing down a river, drinking.
One of my
I
favorite
mean,
activities.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
so fucking good.
Yeah, it's awesome. And if you're not a drinker, which I'm not a heavy drinker myself, but like smoking, all of those places, it's
Yeah.
fun to smoke too.
Yeah, smoking and drinking down a river, dude. That's the one, dude. We should do that. We should do a Welcome to Maine tube event. Like, bring your own tube. Let's go down the fucking river.
Saco River.
Saco River, dude.
Yeah, friggin' Saco River. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be really a great episode.
All right, audience questions.
Audience questions.
Audience questions. Now, again, we plan on doing this every week. The day the day of on our Facebook, I ask if anyone wants to ask us any questions, and so this is where it's all coming from. All right, Jessica Elizabeth asks, question: are Mark's eyes straight usually, but he just makes them wonky for the videos? You all do. Yeah. So, if people do not know that, so I've got, the reason my eyes are fucked up is I have an autoimmune disease called Graves. And Graves gives you a condition called TED, which is thyroid eye disease. and it affects people different ways. It affected Ronnie Dangerfield. He had Graves' disease. You can tell in his eyes. The guy from Young Frankenstein, Marty Feldman, is that his name? With the crazy eyes, he had Graves' disease. Fucking Wendy Williams, who's currently going through a bunch of shit. She's got Graves' disease. But there's a bunch of people with crazy eyes that have the crazy eyes because of Graves' disease. So I didn't have crazy eyes until I had Graves' disease, and my eyes looked a lot worse until I started getting medication. And then when I got medication, basically the only thing that was happening is I was getting like this weird lazy eye drag. But what I realized, they want to do a surgery to correct it. And what I realized is I could not only kind of control it, so it wasn't really a bother, but I could make it go fucking wonky if I wanted to make people fucking laugh. I mean, it'll go wonky occasionally on its own, especially if I'm drinking. It'll start wandering around like a fucking child at a fucking toy store.
The left eye will just go off on its own.
Yeah, it'll smash out.
Yeah.
But in general, I can control it. And with that said, for Welcome to Maine, I tried to make it happen. It's so funny. There's a lot of times where I'm trying to make it happen, and on video it doesn't even come out.
I mean, you have no idea how many times I've heard you say, while we're filming a take, you'll be like, "Hold on, I have to get my eye all fucked up."
Yeah, I gotta get my eye fucked up.
That's the word.
Yeah. No, it's kind of a party trick. I mean, unless you get me drinking, and then you'll see it fucking wander around. But in general,
I got a party trick. What? Can you balance a quarter on your nose? No. Watch my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a party trick you want to show a state trooper at fucking 3 a.m. But yeah. So right, something I fucking just do. Barbara Clark Garepi asks. She asked about where the podcast is. She listened to the first podcast. All right, so she said, Barbara Clark Garepi asks, since I'm not from Maine, I'm Mainer, quote unquote, what is a true definition of a flatlander? Flatlander, dude. I think just anyone who's not from Maine.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. With that said, like, I don't really know. The idea flat land.
It can't be someone from Vermont though, because there's mountains everywhere.
I mean, there's mountain there. I mean, there's.
It's got to be I think
Montana.
It's something in Massachusetts, or I mean, the Midwest is literally completely flat. I've driven through Kansas and Ohio, and I've driven through Kentucky and Indiana, and there are places where in Pennsylvania where you just look out into, it's like driving through Caribou in potato fields in Aroostook County.
Yeah.
I don't know. Flatland is someone from Massachusetts in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, the way I write Flatlander is it's just anyone who's not from Maine. Is that really an insult? It's more of like a distinguishing quality.
Yeah, you're not from
Flatlander. Yeah, and that's the thing. You're not from here. It's pretty ripe in Maine for sure.
You're not from here.
Fucking Flatlander, dude. So I don't know if we answered your question, but I hope it does. Nat Ives asks, when do we meet Mark's Nana? Maybe you could do a Home for the Holidays, Welcome to Maine. I love that idea. I do want to add a Mark's Nana. I need to find a good Mark's Nana. I think that's really where it comes down to for me is I would love to do. I have a really good idea. It would never work. But there is a elderly gentleman that I would like to put as Mark's Nana.
I know you're.
What?
Tim
no.
Sample.
Nope.
So you can cut that, but
no, I'm gonna cut this one out.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, we do need a good Mark's Nana because she's put up with enough of Mark's shit over the years that she deserves a cameo appearance.
Yeah, no, we do Mark's Nana. I'm not sure who, but we definitely need a Mark's Nana. But Nat, for sure, eventually you will meet Mark's Nana. I'm not sure when, though. Danielle Renee asks, now that you are establishing solid characters and supporting characters, is there any plan to do any kind of subtle, overarching plot fish hook for the series? So I am currently writing a script. I guess first draft. I'm like on my second draft of a TV pilot that I'm writing right now. That has an overarching arc for the entire actual series. There's a bunch of throughways. There's a bunch of crazy shit. It is not Welcome to Maine, but the characters are based in like that same Maine humor type shit. And so, I mean, with Welcome to Maine, we do have, I guess our through lines are like, we talk about Mark's cousin, we talk about Mark's Nana, we talk about, we're establishing the characters as far as like little stories here and there. Like there is, as someone put it, lore about Mark now, that like the lore of Mark deepens. I saw on a post, which I really fucking liked.
Yeah.
I think all that small stuff, I think, adding little bits like that will continue. But as far as like a big story, I'm super focused on that, but for a different project that is kind of like the sister project of Welcome to Maine. So if you are super interested in that shit, keep your eyes open and your ears open, because I'm hoping to start filming, or I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm planning on working on some shit with the pilot. So if you like some weird arcs and Maine humor and fucking cult shit, then you might like what I'm doing.
Stay tuned.
Adam Eaton, clams, mussels, and oysters, how do they bang? I'm down for anything that you dip in butter. I'm not gonna lie, down for it all.
How do they I think he's asking how they mate.
Oh, how do they mate?
I think so. Is that what? How do they bang?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, dude, there's it's probably so boring that they didn't do a Planet Earth episode about it. I don't know. I love to eat them though.
What do you like the most?
Mussels. Love mussels.
You know what's funny is I think oysters are they get like the fucking the limelight, but I prefer mussels as well.
Yeah, mussels are in a good like white wine sauce, and you can dip some good bread in it too. Well, yeah.
I'm not big on seafood in general, but I'll do some mussels. I'll do clams too.
I love clams. I love steamers, mussels.
Yeah.
And oysters.
So Barbara Clark. All right, so I'll just read what she wrote. OMG, I was just in Wally World, Walmart, and they had Christmas music playing, and the thought occurred to me, you guys have to do a Christmas special. All great comedians and famous people have a Christmas special. We are not famous, nor we're half comedians, I would say. Hell, they even have a Star Wars Christmas special. Fuck yes. No harm, but it was torture watching it. My husband is a Star Wars fan. Hell yeah. Good to hear that. Barbara's husband. So got to do what you got to do. LOL, but I know yours would be kick-ass, right? So we were actually doing a live Christmas special at Portland House of Music, December 22nd. But I think some of the videos that will be shown live will probably drop. Maybe one will drop on Christmas as like a gift to the fans. So we will do some comedy Christmas shit with Welcome to Maine. I'd love to do something a little bit more put together for next year. It's just like it's been fucking crazy.
This year's also been like 2021. I know it was better than 2020, but it's also a pretty fucked up year,
I think it's a lot of people getting back on their feet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's
that
a fucking hard one.
Makes it a difficult year.
Yeah. I mean, we had an easier time filming Welcome to Maine during the pandemic than we do now.
Oh, for
because
sure.
you know what I mean. We got shit to do.
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions we got.
Nice.
Anything else?
No, I just appreciate everybody listening and keep watching the episodes.
Yeah, let us know what you want to see as far as episodes. I didn't think the Pit Parties one was going to do well at all, and I thought the football one was going to do great, and I was wrong on both those things. So, let us know what you want to see, what you'd like to see from Welcome to Maine, and we're going to try and make that happen. I think the more we focus on the people that are actually watching Welcome to Maine, I think the stronger the show gets. So, let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see, and we'll focus on that.
Fuck yeah. And keep asking more questions too, because I love answering the questions.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to reach out to us. We're both available. You can hit us right up on the Facebook or the TikTok or the YouTube, and for the most part, we try to be responsive. So don't be afraid to hit us up. And again, thank you guys very much for supporting Welcome to Maine. Sorry, I had to burp.
No, it's great. Yeah, we appreciate everybody.
I only drank 2 beers this time, not 3. I'm a
had-
fucking champion.
I had a green tea.
Fuck yeah. All right, well, that was the All Stove Podcast, episode 2. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good night. Peace.
Peace.